spending more than you have to. Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is Thursday, and we are so glad that you're here. Glad that you're up. Not glad, because you'd rather be sleeping, and frankly, so would I. But since we all have to be up, we're glad that we're here together. This whole hee-haw gang that we call the Morning Extra. What's up, boys?
I thought about that this morning.
What, just going back to sleep?
Well, no, more along the lines of...
So did I.
I'm going to get here as quickly as possible.
Yes.
So I can get in the chair.
Oh, see?
And I showed up.
See?
And I'm like half an hour early, which I try never to do.
Never, ever.
And Tug basically proceeds to stay in there for the next 25 minutes.
That's incorrect. Well, and I
for you.
thank you.
Good
That's
for you.
incorrect.
And granted, you beat me there, so that's what's going to happen. So tomorrow I'm going to get up at 3:30.
Yes, that's a good
Lord.
idea.
And by the time you show up here,
You'll already have
my
6
happy
flags.
ass is going to sit in that thing for 90 minutes. You're going to be sitting in your chair right now going like, what do I not
What
feel
can I
good?
get?
Exactly. And I'll just be sitting there. I'll be eating pudding there.
I gotta Tug, tomorrow we work from home. Make him come in early anyway.
Oh,
That's
wow.
fine. You don't get the chair.
That's right, man, because the chair's not
That's
almost
fair.
there.
The chair is the priority.
Yes, it is.
The
It
only
is.
reason I get up in the morning is I'm like, gonna do a fun show.
That's right.
Gonna get in the chair.
That's right. The chair is. I'm telling you, there's something about it. But I'll have to. I only defend myself in the fact that I do 2 try-me's, which is 12 minutes,
Yes.
not 25. I don't even do the full 15, which is like normally I do 2 try-me's. I think I like the try-me because it's so
I
random.
got 6 minutes.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, but twice, so I do it twice.
No, I'm saying I only got 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Well, I have a feeling here in about. I
Yes,
don't know.
exactly. Coming up at the bottom half of the hour, that's where I will be. If anybody needs to find me, it's on Twitter in the chair.
I'm gonna beat him to that chair now.
Dude, well, look, y'all don't fight.
He might rip me out.
I'm
Actually.
tired. He
No,
might.
you know what? That's why
I
you
see
got to do
that anger.
headlines.
That's it.
We're going to end the segment with headlines.
That's right. That's exactly right. But
As soon as you say, and coming up headline, I'm like, bam, gone.
Where'd those
Oh,
go?
man.
He
All right.
ran out here. He ran out there so
Kick
fast.
my little leg out the side here, maybe trip him up.
He looked like the Roadrunner scooting out the door. Beep, beep.
Man, I had some fun with trees this morning.
Yeah,
Was
you
not
got-
expecting that.
Yeah, you had in the neighborhood. It was a couple of them had toppled over.
There's 2 ways out to get to Bells Ferry Road from our neighborhood. The first way is the normal way I go, which is the quicker way. I got all the way almost to Bells Ferry, and then there's a road closed. So I said, okay, no big deal. There's another exit. Started going down that way, get all the way around the neighborhood to the other side. Road closed.
Uh-oh.
So then I'm like, there's got to be another way out. But, with GPS, it'll tell you, no. These are the only 2 routes you're allowed to take.
They don't recognize trees.
Yeah, they're like, you have to turn around. And I'm like, no, I have to find another way.
Off.
Yeah, well, but I don't have a map anymore, so like I have to figure out, okay, which
Oh, I got
roads
you. Yeah,
get
yeah.
you out. So here I am like zooming in, moving around, and I had road rage in my own car with no
By
one else
yourself.
around me this morning.
I road raged with myself.
But I did find the magical way out.
Well, look at there. See,
I'll
that's-
never remember it.
No, well, maybe you backtrack it.
Like 14 turns, left, right, up, down, left.
Yeah, it sounded like 30 Men on Contra.
Yeah.
That's what that sounded like.
30
to me.
men on Contra. Yes.
Up, right, left, down, BA
Good for
select
you.
start. There you
I
go.
wasn't expecting that out of you.
Yeah,
Contra
man.
references.
Dude, I loved Contra. That was my favorite. I couldn't beat it without the 30 Men, but I always loved playing it.
Marvel movies, not so much. Contra
Yes.
gets it.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but the old Contra, I don't know, because I'm sure they remade
There's a Super Contra, which was a really good version, too.
Is
I
that-
love the Super Contra.
What platform?
I think that was like Nintendo 64, maybe?
I never graduated to that.
I don't know.
I never graduated out of the
regular Nintendo?
I never had. What was it? Super Nintendo that came after regular?
We had Nintendo Entertainment System.
That was the one I had.
The Super Nintendo.
Okay, so I never
Nintendo
graduated.
64.
I never graduated out of.
I think it was
the NES.
Super Nintendo, actually. Super Contra.
So I would have never played Super.
Well, that Nintendo 64 when that came out, and when we could actually put 4 controllers on that thing, and as much as my friends we'd play Bond like for hours. I mean, it'd be like one of those things like, get over to John's house by 7, and we'd be there until like 2 a.m. playing Bond.
Just running in pizza. Was that in college or high school?
Oh, high school.
High school. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to remember how that all laid out. Because
like GoldenEye.
Yeah, by college, I would assume, because I had already dropped out at least once, and then joined the Navy. I feel like PlayStation had kind of kicked in by that point, right? Like late 90s is when PlayStation popped up originally.
Yeah, the PS1 was out there, and then shortly thereafter the PS2 ended up at least early part of college for me. That was like the system that if you could get a hold of one, that's what you had.
I'm telling you, I remember guys in the Navy, the description you gave is they couldn't wait to get off of work. You know, on the ship. Obviously, you live on the ship and you work on the ship. They couldn't wait for the duty day to be done so they could get down to the berthing area and everybody was gathered around.
Everybody would get together
and play. And man, it was.
Well, this is before
incredible.
The idea of having everything where it's networked oriented.
Yeah.
So if you played, it was because you were sitting next to the guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like now you can play all day long, all night long, and there's thousands of people, and you just play. It used to be it's me and my friends.
Yeah, that's right.
None of you'll know what it's like to blow off a cartridge.
Exactly.
From the old Nintendo. Yeah, that's funny.
It's not working correctly. Well, blow on it.
Blow on.
That'll help.
It did, I think, most of the time.
It seemed to work. I don't even know. And everybody just kind of started doing it. I don't know if you just saw your friend do it and you picked it up, meaning me.
Sure.
Or the collective you. I don't know how it all came about, but everybody did it. Everybody, if the thing wouldn't work, you were just blowing the cartridge.
That always amazed me because, we didn't have like internet where you'd have somebody on there and like, I'm the PlayStation expert. Thanks for following my channel. Make sure you subscribe. This is what you do if your cartridge gets out.
Here's what you do if your cartridge gets out.
We actually had
such a great way to describe it.
1-800 numbers where you could call.
That's right.
And ask for help on games. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was
strategy, right?
And it was sponsored by the game manufacturers where, again, you call in, here's an 800 number, and all the people would do there is play video games.
Yeah.
And they were the ones who were supposed to help you out with, like, hey, we're playing Castlevania or Contra.
Yeah, Castlevania was so good.
Yep.
I loved that game.
Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
That kind of continues now a little bit with apps, though. It's not like you call 800 number. And the reason I tell you this is my son just picked up an NIL, I guess it's kind of NIL deal, but it's the same thing. And it's called Athletes Helping Athletes. And they take college athletes and through this app, if you're a parent and your kid's having a tough time and they need somebody else to talk to them about whatever it is. I mean, it could be hitting or shooting free throws or maybe the mental aspect of the game, and they connect. They pay them $40 an hour to talk to kids about.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
My son just told me about it yesterday. He was like, "Dad, this is what happened. Came through Charleston. It came through the college, and but it just kind of reminded me of that 800 thing.
That's funny.
That continues even today when people aren't sure. Man, they want either an 800 number to call or somebody to talk to, and they continue that through apps. It's just technology.
Boy, that could be dangerous.
In what way?
Well, people are crazy. They'll start calling in. They'll be like, I need help with the app. It's not working. And then, it goes in there like, my girlfriend, really got mad at me. So I'm trying to post these pictures of her and, make fun of her. And, my mom was really mad at it. Like, all right.
It turned into a psychologist. I'm like, can I help you with your free throw? I don't know about that other stuff.
Yeah.
Be nice to your mama.
Right.
Don't post naked pictures of your girlfriend.
Well, I wish I had known when I was a freshman in college. Hey, when you show up, everyone's going to be as good as you, and it's going to be weird.
Oh, yeah.
These are little things that other people can tell you where nobody told me.
That's true.
I thought I was going to show up and be like, well,
Big
turbo starter, here's what it's going to be. No, it turns out everybody's really good.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What is it? Is it 1% Is that the number of people that go from high school to playing college sports? I don't mean the level.
Yeah,
I just mean it's like 1%.
It goes down to 1%, then it goes down to even a smaller percentage for playing pro.
Each level.
And so each level up, you don't recognize it because you're playing over in Cumming or Alpharetta or Dunwoody, and you're the best player around.
You're the stud.
Then suddenly they take the 1% of everybody, throw them all together, and you look around and you're like, wait, everybody's good.
Everybody's the stud.
Everybody's fast and strong.
Where all those people come from? There can't be that many of me.
Right.
It's fine. But it is.
But it's good to know that stuff.
Absolutely. It's so true. It's so 100% true. Masters starts today. If the rain holds off, which it doesn't look like it's going to. But
no, they've delayed the start already. The opening gates, they usually start around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they get everybody in. But
what time are we going to today?
9 a.m. right now.
Okay.
They're starting to open the gates around 9 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
But they haven't given an exact time of start because there's more storms coming through. And I know that Augusta yesterday got hammered with rain, so they're probably working on the course as we speak, driving around, making sure everything's set. But another storm, another round of storms is coming through that area later, so we'll see how that goes.
Stupid storms.
Yeah. We lost the Braves game last night. In fact,
we lost the cornhole.
Oh, you lost the
we got over
tournament.
there.
Lost my softball game.
Yeah.
We all got rain.
Well, I had a friend of mine reach out and pointed out how they were going to go to the Braves game, and like an hour later, when I asked, like, okay, so what time you getting down there? I was like, okay, I missed that.
Yeah. I did. We were getting ready to go to cornhole when my wife pulls in the driveway from the office and says, "Yeah, Braves game's been canceled." And she was like, "It looks like we're going to get our cornhole in." Sure enough, we get over there. Yeah. We always go ahead and just grab a bite to eat. Yes, we did. We always go over there and grab a bite to eat. Just to break up the week. Because we always cook at home. And as soon as we sat down to eat, just the bottom fell out. Like, well, no cornhole.
I tried to take the dog out, I think right around like maybe 6 o'clock last night.
And the dog's like, "Daddy, no."
I'm telling you that those skies opened up, and I just looked and was like, nope, she's going to have to hold on to that one. I was like, we're not doing wet dog in the house.
Doing the pee-pee dance over there.
The dogs weren't liking it. They knew something was coming. I mean, they were whining, and I was like, oh, guys, I know it's okay. Calm down.
Yeah. Yesterday, Donald Trump shows up at Chick-fil-A eating the Lord's chicken.
I love it.
But I didn't see, and maybe they scoured the building, and anybody that don't like Trump, y'all going home, because he's coming to this location. I don't know. But it looked like a family reunion.
Yeah.
People were like glad handing and hugging and how you been? How's your mom and them? It was
how's your mom and them?
It was just like a celebration. Everybody's smiling, taking pictures and things. I mean, the Lord's chicken is good, but maybe I should expect that at Chick-fil-A. I mean, I'm sure if Biden showed up, people would be very kind to.
So there's a gentleman out there, Keith Boykin. He's a Dartmouth guy, Harvard Law, very sharp dude, and he's a black man who comments on politics for the most part. Man, you want to talk about having his panties all up in a twist, because he's a decided leftist. And to watch Black Atlanta celebrate Donald Trump when he goes, that set him off. That set them all off. Just the fact that they were so kind to him and he was kind to them and everybody's just hanging out. Because there's not a whole lot of images where you see Joe Biden walk into an establishment and it's roll out the red carpet and everybody can't wait to give him love, especially when they're black. Doesn't happen.
No, it
never
doesn't.
happens.
No, but we talked about this. I mean, we saw it when they decided they were going to charge him and take a mugshot. We saw the people line up in the streets in some of the areas that you wouldn't expect them to support.
Lining the streets with signs of support.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like this, all that happened was it went from, okay, he's kind of our guy to, this is our guy.
Yeah. Look, and yesterday we saw that out of Donald Trump at Chick-fil-A, and then in the middle of Joe Biden's press conference after meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan, he's like looking at his little list like, Rhino, I can call on Rhino. Oh, no, I cannot. I mean, that person from ABC. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the juxtaposition of the two people.
It is a weird juxtaposition because you would think, especially when Biden comes to Atlanta now, he's coming to beg for votes. He's begging them to, you have to. I'm surprised he hasn't gone back to the, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black yet. I mean, he is trying to do whatever he can. And I don't know what his staff is thinking because all they continue to do is go to one group and then say, you're the most important group. They did that with the Hispanic group. They did that with the black group early. They're not doing that anymore. They are skipping black churches. They're skipping areas. They're trying to find votes. And people are just frustrated with this entire administration. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about inflation. They're worried about jobs. And they keep pandering about social issues that people don't care about. I think they're losing them.
I want you to go to a department store. Now, you don't have to do it today, but just at some point. So you can feel what it's like to be a Biden staffer. Head to a department store, get a mannequin, try to get it to say what you want it to say.
or lately, just find an employee that can tell you anything.
Ponder that.
Just stand there and talk to the mannequin
and try to get it and try to get it to say what you want it to say.
Or say anything.
And you will sit there and understand what it's like to be a Biden staffer.
Good Lord.
I mean, how do you go about it? How do you mess with a crazy person?
Yeah.
So, not even crazy. He's got dementia,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
like it's an illness.
Yeah.
And yet, you're trying to manufacture a presidential campaign for the hardest job in the world, and he's not here.
No.
You know?
And it's probably one of the most important elections for Democrats. If you think about what they've tried to accomplish, Barack Obama accomplished enough in his second term to start the ball rolling that they knew if we could get this office back, we'll continue down the field and hopefully get some of the social issues that we want pushed through, the climate agenda, the EV issues, everything that we're going to try to get pushed through. Hopefully we can roll that way. And now they're struggling. They can't motivate anyone. And in fact, their biggest supporters, the youth group, they're now really tied up with the whole Gaza-Israeli thing, and they're actually going against the party. The progressives now are starting the infighting. This is a big problem for Democrats. They are scrambling really hard to figure out how they can win this election.
Couple things just before we get to headlines. Lowe's not yet. Don't run yet.
No, I'm not. I'm right here. I'm here.
I just said headlines. I was afraid he's going to run out the door.
Nope. Listen.
Go.
I'm staying on side.
All right.
But I'm ready.
There's two things. You have Lloyd Austin that went in front and testified that and kind of beat up Vladimir Zelensky, right? Because he's blowing up with drones some of the oil refineries in Russia, and that's causing gas prices to go up. That's hurting Joe Biden. So the people that they support more than anything else, they're publicly going after them because it's hurting Joe Biden in the ratings, in the polling, because of what's happening. And then on the other side, you got the Israel thing. They don't know which way to go with that. They know they're losing the Arab vote. They know they're hurting the Jewish vote. And we've talked about it many times, but when you put people in boxes like that, eventually the boxes are going to be in a situation where you can't please two masters.
No, and I'm going to give credit to the liberal Jews because what they're doing is being quiet. They're not going to vote because the way they feel about Israel. They may sit out of this. They are catering to the loud, the tyrannical minority, which is the Hamas supporters, the pro-terrorist groups. They're so afraid of losing that vote because that's their strong arm. If you think about that, Carlos brought up a long time ago, all they do is change hats. This same group is the same one that was wearing a BLM hat, the same ones that stop Cop City, the same ones that go from city to city to city to protest, and they're losing them, and that's their loud minority. And because they're so loud, that's garnered the attention of the Biden administration, and the Jewish side is sitting back just quietly deciding how or what they're going to do when it comes to the election in 2024.
It's weird how there's an element of art of war in that they try and make themselves look to be a bigger group than what it really is.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrated people that move from one group to the next, and all they're doing is espousing the same sort of stuff that helps this administration. It's not that there's 20 groups of 1,000 people. There's about 1,000 people, and they partake in 20 groups. It's just what it is.
That's exactly right. This is the Morning Extra.
Enjoy your massage, Carlos. Meanwhile, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, April 11th. Nearly 100,000 people are without power this morning as storms carrying heavy rain and wind gusts swept through the area last night. A wind advisory is still in effect this morning and will remain until 8 p.m. this evening. The strong wind gusts have taken down trees across metro Atlanta. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour are possible today during your commute. The overnight storms have also caused a delay to the start of the 2024 Masters this morning. If you're traveling to Augusta for today's opening round, the opening of the gates has been pushed back, with the tournament not starting before 9 a.m. This is the 5th consecutive year the tournament has been affected by rain. And Game 3 of the Braves series versus the Mets was postponed last night due to the storms that came through the metro Atlanta area as well. The game will be made up on May 26th when the Mets return to Truist Park. Alan Winans, who was scheduled to start last night, will take the mound today in the series finale. First pitch scheduled for 12:20.
Next on the Morning Extra, Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr is up early and joins us to talk to you about why he's suing the Biden administration. Next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins this show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
I got out of the truck this morning and went to work. Not here at the radio station. I went to work on my truck. There was so much of whatever that is that falls out of the trees that makes the pollen, whatever that is. It was everywhere. If you go into our parking deck here at the Battery Atlanta, you'll see it. It's laying all around my truck. It's like a halo around my truck because that stuff's everywhere. I mean, thankfully, we've had some rain knock a little of it down. I mean, that's good. But the problem is, all that stuff ends up in your house, too. You're breathing that stuff in. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can help you with it. Healthy, fresh, clean, allergen-free air with proper ventilation. They can set it up for you. Breathe clean air in your home. You can't outside. It's impossible. But at least you can control it in your house if you partner with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Of course, they can take care of the maintenance of your HVAC system. Of course, they can give you a new system and even at a discount. But they can control the house health, which in turn will control your family's health. Get clean air in your home with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. 770-GET-HEAT and centralheat.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of the annual Duck Pluck event, supporting Special Olympics Georgia athletes, and we need your help. Adopt a cute rubber duck today for just $7, and all proceeds will help provide everything from meals to housing for our Georgia athletes at the state games. Adopt your duck today at duckrace.com/Atlanta.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Is this the year you want to grow your business? Do you want to expand your team? Build a new office? Hey, it's Tug, and I want to tell you about First Liberty Building and Loan. Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you're dealing with a new person? You won't have to with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they can help you too. They know the patterns, they know the ebbs and flows, and they know business. Now the Frost family wants to know you. FirstLibertyGA.com. Buying a building, building a building, buying a franchise, or expanding. Reach out and spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. FirstLibertyGA.com. By the way, if you're a young banker and you want to work with a team that's faith-friendly with a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan at FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
So, Robert, I want to thank you for your time. I just don't think you're the right person for this position.
I don't understand. Was it something I said?
Well, we did a background check on you and found some things of concern.
If you're in charge of hiring for your company, you know how helpful a background screening can be. That's why companies that use Horizon background screening make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com. horizonscreening.com.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hey, it's your old pal Neil Bortz. I'm back on Atlanta's only conservative news talk station, Extra 106.3. Okay, here's more of the Morning Extra.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's, your best friends in the morning on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. We're on the air until 10. Chris Carr joins us on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We can start with the Braves now if you like, and then get to serious stuff, or we can do the serious stuff first.
It's up to you, Chris.
It is up to you.
Choose your own adventure.
Yes, right. However you'd like to do it.
Guys, this is your show. I'm here for you, so whatever. But let me just say, you got to worry about Strider. That bothers me, and I hate that the Pen kind of gave up 5 last night. But again, we're still atop the East, and a lot of games left to go. But went to the opening night game, and it was a lot of fun, and that lineup's killer.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you stay the whole night? Because we did. Now, Rhino,
I took off.
You took off. But I mean, y'all
we had been up since 4
That's
o'clock.
right. Y'all had been up, super early. I was able to get home, take a short nap, and then come back to the ballpark. So me and my wife stayed, and she wanted to see the fireworks. I mean, let's talk about what's important in my wife's life. Not the Braves winning in extra innings, but fireworks.
Yeah, no, we didn't stay till the end because I had to get up and go to D.C. the next morning. But we listened to it on the radio on the way out.
Attaboy, listening to the sultry tones of Ben Ingram. Let me ask you.
That's exactly right.
Let me ask you this, Chris, because maybe I'm an idiot. I think probably that's the case. Because I have cut 2 $20,000 checks trying to pay for my kid's school. And we've been saving since he was well before he was even born to be able to pay for him to go to college. And then I look at what the Biden administration is doing, and I'm like, I am the knucklehead. I'm the idiot. I'm the buffoon. Why am I cutting these checks? Let's just run up a whole bunch of debt and then roll the dice that you and Rhino and Lowe's and Joe and everybody listening is going to pay for it.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. Not only is it illegal what they are doing, they can't do this. They simply can't. I mean, technically Congress could if they wanted to, but it's just bad policy. And the second thing, guys, I mean, it's just unfair. It's just not fair. I have student loan debt. I had to work to pay it off, and most other people do. And why in the world should you be paying for your next door neighbor's student loans or why should somebody that's working hard in the factory fight to pay off the student loans of the lawyer? It's bad policy, and it's just patently unfair. And I hear about this all the time. We sued before, we won before. We're having to do it again. Why? Because it's an election year, guys, and the Biden administration and the activists in the Biden administration know they can't get it done, but they're going to try to get the political benefit, and they know they're going to lose.
Attorney General Chris Carr with us. Yeah, that's a great point. They are pandering to a group because it is an election year. You join on with Florida, and I believe it's 6 other states that you've joined again to now do this?
Yeah, I think there's a few more than that, and there's a couple of different lawsuits. But the point is, we're all fighting this. It doesn't make sense. You can't do it constitutionally. You can't do it legally. And again, it's just blatantly political, the timing of this thing.
Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr joins us on the Morning Extra. And let me ask you about this. And the theory I have is I call it tired head. That moment where I just kind of put my head down on the desk and I'm just highly disappointed. Do you and your constituents not just get tired head over when you see the Biden administration do something that is just strictly unconstitutional and realize now we have to go through this process again to make sure that it gets overturned?
Not tired head, but it's literally like, guys, they wake up every day and they do something that we're going to be able to fight in court or we got to go after. I mean, it's stunning to me. But again, what's really stunning to me, again, we talked about this, we are a nation that's based on the rule of law. These guys don't even try to go to Congress anymore and get something done. And look, I am a believer that half a loaf is better than no loaf. Worked for Johnny Isakson for years, watched him get things done. Probably not everything he would have wanted to get done, but he wanted to get something done for the people of this state and our nation. They don't even try. They don't even try to go to Congress, talk with the Republican House, even the Democratic Senate. They just go out here and they issue rules and regs that they know are going to get struck down in court. That's what's disappointing. But literally they give us something every day to wake up and fight against because clearly they don't believe in the rule of law and they have no earthly idea how to pass legislation.
Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr on the Morning Extra, Tug, Rhino, and Los. It kind of goes to the point, though. We see all these egregious crimes on the news and on social media, and it's blown up. And now the Biden administration tell you the crime's way down and whatever. But that's the thing. If they don't enforce crime at the street level, what makes us think they're going to enforce it at like the white collar level, the politician level? They're going to let that go before. I mean, there's nobody even filming on that. They do that in the secret, in the dark of night or the cover of the Capitol.
Well, what I see is it's exactly what you just said at the street level. What's troubling to me is, 4 or 5 years ago, you had the rise on the left of sanctuary cities, and it was cool to become a sanctuary city. And then you had a bunch of DAs that got elected in 2020 that decided that the new criminal justice reform for them would be, I'm just going to ignore the laws that I don't like. We've talked about Athens many times. We've talked about Savannah and other places. But what has happened, is that's backfiring. You can see people pushing back, Republicans, Democrats, and independents. Why? Because everybody wants to be safe. But here's what's worrying me now, guys. The federal government has a fundamental job, and that's to defend this nation, and immigration is part of it. And we are seeing a rise in gang activity, drug trafficking, rise in fentanyl, opioids. We just had a big announcement in the state for some relief, hopefully, for those that are struggling, and human trafficking. But that's the job they fundamentally have. And take a state like Texas. If the federal government's not going to do its job, we have an obligation to our citizens to defend them, and we'll have to react and respond. But instead of supporting and helping and coming to the aid of Texas and saying, look, we got to have a safe border, they're fighting. That's why we came to Texas's defense legally and said, no, they have an obligation to their citizens. That, to me, is what's fundamentally wrong. We've got a white-collar crime division in our department. And, again, if anybody, I've indicted district attorneys and I've indicted Board of Regents members, and we've talked to judges and that type of thing. So I think we've got an obligation to do it, so do the feds. But at the end of the day, defending our nation is what they're supposed to do, and they look the other way every single day. And then we've got to, we're the ones that have to react and respond to it, and we'll do it. But we need them stepping up and doing it, too.
Attorney General Chris Carr joining us here on the Morning Extra. Chris, one of the things that we talk about a lot, obviously, is the Laken Riley. But what we're not talking about are some of the other stories that are coming out. A 3-year-old Athens boy who was killed, likely gang-related. You guys have put together the gang prosecution unit. You've done a great job so far. You've put a bunch of gangs, or at least indicted a bunch of gangs, and they'll continue on those. Talk about the 3-year-old that was killed in Athens as well.
Yeah, we've got that case. I got to be careful talking about the specifics, but at the end of the day, this is about violent crime. And guys, I've said this before. Who are the communities most often terrorized by gangs and violent crime? Lower income, racially diverse, and immigrant populations. Yep. It's we Republicans and conservatives that have taken to heart the fact that we have to defend everybody. And again, we've had a DA in Athens who said, yeah, I'm just not going to prosecute certain types of crimes. And early on, she said, not doing gangs. She said she'd do homicides or whatever it may be. But then we got the ability to prosecute gangs as well. So we are in Athens. We are around the state. Columbus has got an issue, but that community has embraced us, and we're doing a lot of good work. We're going to continue to do that. But when you see a 3-year-old, the problem with gang activity is this. It's not just the gangs themselves. It's who is injured, who's harmed, who's killed as a result of that gang activity. And here you've got a case where you had a 3-year-old. That's tragic. Absolutely tragic. And again, if it was my family, I'd hope somebody would step up and do everything they possibly could to help us.
You guys are doing a great job, and one of the things you did also is we got a settlement, the opioid settlement, and that's going to be important because, more than ever I see, especially with like the VA and others that are getting prescribed drugs, and then you see them getting out on the street, kids taking them, selling them in schools, children dying. Talk a little bit about the settlement and where we are going to see the money returned to the people of Georgia.
Yeah, guys, we're excited. We're excited to get the settlement because this opioid crisis, which really is driven by fentanyl and stronger fentanyl and more prevalent, you're seeing more fentanyl being more prevalent in the state. It knows no geographic or economic or demographic boundaries. I mean, again, y'all probably know people that have struggled with opioids and addiction. I do. We all, family members, friends, whatever it may be. And if you're in a local community, you're more likely, if you're in an urban area, you're more likely to get treatment. But if you're in rural or exurban Georgia, it's really hard. You're seeing sheriffs that are having to be arresting people over and over, more so because they're addicted and there's nowhere else to go. So the state is going to have about $1 billion coming in over 18 years. And a little bit over half of that's coming to the state. The other half will go directly to the cities and counties. And it can go to building treatment facilities. It can go to buying naloxone, which is, helps with drug overdoses. And again, we revive people. We're seeing more and more of that. You're seeing both younger and older. And again, when you start looking at the data, it really is, folks that are 45 to 65 that you're seeing that demographic rise in addiction and overdoses. So the Department of Behavioral Health just announced they're going to put together a grant program. There's a website that folks can go to, gaopioidtrust.org, and apply for grants starting on April the 15th. And I'm really excited about that because this is a matter of life and death. And I really am excited, particularly for exurban and rural Georgia, that really they need options as far as treatment goes because, again, it's hard to talk with somebody that doesn't know an individual that's been impacted by this crisis.
Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr joins us on the Morning Extra, and I'm glad we get to end with obviously some silver linings, some good news that's going on. And I want to ask you this because with everyone in this room, we can all get into Braves games. It's just kind of with our media credential and everything else
because we're special.
Have yet to been able to find my way into Augusta National. Does the Attorney General is he able to find his way into Augusta National?
Not to put you on the spot or anything,
just
Chris.
asking. Listen, I just want to know that the man can get in.
Only when I'm lucky and somebody has an extra badge or something along those lines. But, man, guys, that's the cathedral of golf. You walk on that property and, man, everything else changes. And the colors are a little brighter, and you're sure your game's going to improve, but it doesn't.
It's never real bad. If you don't go to Augusta on Saturday, what's the likelihood you'll show up at Sanford Stadium about 1 o'clock?
Well, I'm going to be. I'm not going to be at Sanford Stadium. Unfortunately, I've got to be with my daughter. She's actually in D.C. She's representing the state in the National Cherry Blossom Festival. So I'm going to be up there being a good dad. Cool. But I'll be watching everything on television.
There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. The old Georgia G-Day game Saturday, 1 p.m. Sanford Stadium. Chris Carr,
thank you.
It is always a pleasure to talk to you, man. We just appreciate you taking the time for us, and hopefully we'll maybe run into you over at Truist Park one day soon.
Would love to do it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Tug, Rhino, Los until 10. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. The childish pronoun game is just, well, it's tiring and it's weird. And there's a lot of other ways to describe it. We'll talk about it next. Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster. But I'm watching the TV last night, and the reporter kept talking about gun violence. You hear that all the time. Gun violence. A question. When somebody gets into a wreck and somebody dies, did they die from car violence? No. They died because the driver of a car took an action that resulted in their death.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Life has enough stress. You're dealing with so much every day from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. And the last thing you want to think about is more stress, added stress. But you need some things done to the exterior of your home. You know that the paint needs to be updated. The siding is faded. The roof needs to potentially be replaced, but definitely repaired. I mean, how long has it all been? But the stress of trying to find the right contractor, getting all the estimates, all the things that happen. If you have an exterior project you've been putting off because you don't want to deal with it, the experience at Southern Exteriors is different. They have dedicated project managers guiding you through every step of the process. Your dedicated project manager ensures seamless communication, providing you with a single point of contact for any questions, updates, concerns that you might have throughout the entire process. With a dedicated Southern Exterior manager overseeing your project, you can expect a tailored approach, ensuring that your vision is understood and it's executed to perfection. From roofing and siding, gutters to windows, doors, consider Southern Exteriors for your next exterior project. Get rid of that stress. You don't need it. I don't need it. You don't want it. I don't want it. Call them today, 877-9-SOUTHERN. They're coming out to my house. We're doing painting soon. They were ready to go as soon as we said we're ready to go. But then we've got all kinds of things coming up. Just travel. My son's got to move out of his college dorm. There's so much going on. We had to put them off. They won't make you wait. We're making them wait. 877-9-SOUTHERN. 877-9-SOUTHERN. SouthernExteriors.co.
My name is Jamie High, and I have worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years. Why do I work for Bruce? Because he truly cares. He cares about me, he cares about my family, and he cares about each and every one of his clients. Family is important to him, and he never makes me choose between my family and work. He values me as an employee, but also as a person. At our firm, we are all family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I am Jamie, and I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years because he's the best. Hagen-law.com.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
You shouldn't need a degree in finance to choose a checking account. That's why we made Truist One Checking. No trade-offs, no compromise, no hassle. Just the stuff you want from a bank that cares. And that means no overdraft fees, lots of practical perks, and automatic upgrades. Truist One Checking. One simple choice. Visit Truist.com/one. Truist.com/ONE. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Neil Bortz here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, cpapsetc.com.
Love having a true conservative news and talk station in Atlanta? Then spread the word. Tell your family and friends to download the Extra 106.3 app and stream the Morning Extra, the Kimmer Show, and Atlanta's biggest lineup of conservative voices.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. I'd say it's early. It's Thursday. I feel like I'm in such a chipper mood. I think it's because I started the Zero FG earlier than I normally do.
Oh, yeah, you're right on that.
I normally don't start until the 7 o'clock hour.
It does work.
But
you just need to know it works.
I'm telling you. And y'all, before this, I'd never had, well, I take that back. maybe had a sip of a Red Bull one time, but I'd never had like a full Red Bull or any of that stuff or I just had never had an energy drink. And all of a sudden, our fine salesman, Craig Roser, he's got a partnership with Zero FG, and they put like coolers and refrigerators in here. And I mean, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. It's crazy. And I drink one every day. And I don't want to say I'm addicted.
And you fly away.
Yeah, exactly. It actually gives you wings.
It does.
It's like, I don't know about the other one.
I do
do
recognize that when I have one, and a lot of times it's often on the drive-in or when I first get into the station, for at least the next hour and a half, I'm like, woo!
Like Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah, it's I tried to steal a case and I got caught, Tug.
Dude,
I had to bring
so
it back.
weird.
I had to bring it back.
Weird. Man, people put me in the most awkward situations.
It's so funny.
I hate it.
Tug like called me and was like, hey,
I hate it.
They saw you take it. And I'm like, take what? The case.
Right.
And I'm like,
I guess
I didn't know I wasn't allowed to. Everybody else was taking them. I had no idea.
They show up by the caseload.
They do. Well, more than that, like truckloads even.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just so happened you walked right by the sales guy and the Zero FG guy, and both of them were like,
well, the Zero FG guy was like, enjoy it.
It must have been a different guy in the back or something.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
The main dude was in the front.
Or he was just being nice to me. Like, he didn't want to say something to me.
Could be. I don't know.
I brought it back and I put it back on there. And
whatever.
Now I'm boycotting. No, I'm not.
No.
I'm drinking them
until
on the way
8
home.
o'clock.
Dang it.
Yeah. 9 o'clock, I have one of those on the way home. I'm ready to go.
I just sometimes anyway, I could rant.
They're so good.
I could
It's
rant
the
and
flavor.
rave about things that I don't like, but there's no need in doing that because that ain't gonna be helpful.
No, this is these are the good things, man. That's right. This stuff there's a flavor to it. It's much. I don't know what it is about the Zero FG that I like more than any other energy drink. It's really the only one I'll drink now.
Yeah, I've just never had another. I wouldn't know another one to go to. At this point, but anyway, Lowe's, what are your pronouns? Do you
I don't have any.
Like, dude, how you been?
Dude, how's it going?
How's your mom name?
So yesterday it was circulating on the internet, and this is over from Sky News, Sky TV out of London, and the woman's name is Julia Hartley Brewer, and she hosts a show called Talk TV, and she's having a guest on.
Oh, good.
All right. Well, said guest decided that they're going to start off the conversation as every crazy person does, is by telling you their pronouns, right? I mean, we got to start there.
Yeah.
It's
all about me.
It's a leading indicator.
Yeah.
You realize this person's nuts. Well, Julia Hartley Brewer has decided not so much.
My pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar. So the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person, and you're a female person. So I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
Do what you like, I guess.
Well, there you are. You didn't need to tell me then, did you?
Maybe I'm just making sure people know in case they're watching and they want to refer to me respectfully.
Is it disrespectful for me to use correct factual grammar?
It's not incorrect or unfactual grammar to use singular they them pronouns for an individual. But we're here to talk about the cast review.
Yeah, but you chose to bring it up.
You drove it this way.
Exactly.
You chose to use the incorrect pronouns for me.
I chose to use the correct pronouns for a single woman who is appearing on my show.
I'm not a single woman, though. I'm a very special non-binary trans person, as you just pointed out. I
didn't
really
just point that out.
Proud.
I didn't just point that out. I introduced you as a journalist and a Virgin Radio presenter.
No, just before I came on, you were talking about how people with all these labels like to be special. And I'm just making sure that everyone knows I'm special.
Okay, I'm not special. I'm just a boring old heterosexual married woman. But, sorry about that. I'm not allowed to do that anymore. In fact, that probably does make me special now. I don't know.
It makes you
Wonderful is that exchange on live television. Now, they're also associated, and you can hear when they bring it up. So it's not just Talk TV with Sky News. It's also, Virgin with their radio broadcast and everything else. So they're basically bringing on, it's a coworker essentially.
Yeah.
And she's just decided you're going to come on my show as again you're a coworker, you're a cousin. You're going to come on my show. You're going to tell me your pronouns, and I'm now just going to decide, no, I'm not going to play the game with you.
So silly. I don't know why, but that's it's so self-centered. And look,
Yes.
the world's self-centered.
I'm special when she says it. I'm like,
exactly right. But that's the thing. It's just that I think that's what's the most irritating about it. It's all about you. You're making everything has to be about you. The spotlight has to be on you. Every discussion has to be about you. You are so insecure, maybe is the word, that you have to make it about you.
But here's the funny part about it. Even during that exchange, but I'm a special. No, them is special, right? Aren't we supposed to say them? That's not your. I is not your pronoun, is it?
No.
Isn't it them is special? I mean, but I think it's really funny that she talked about grammar, because that is a grammar issue, and it is weird. I'm not going to play your games either. I'm going to be as nice to you as I can. I'm going to, ignore your, oh, it's me. Hey, look, hi, I'm special. I'm better than you. I think I know more than you. Use this. I'm not using it, but I will be respectful to you. But if you're going to come in and then force that right on and then say, I'm special, they, them. No, them special. Then say it right.
So I'm gonna drive it to the sports world. I'm gonna bring it on over here.
Here we go.
So there was a running back 25 years ago, played over at Texas A&M, and his parents, his mother most notably, decided that she wanted to make sure that when he was addressed, it was with a certain amount of energy. Mm-hmm. It was with, here's how you're going to talk about my son. So she named him Sir, S-I-R-R Parker.
Sir Parker, okay.
So you had to call him Sir no matter what.
Yeah, okay.
So that was the thing.
Yeah, she built it in.
That is the weirdness of what this woman is telling. And by the way, this television host is a 55-year-old married woman who's saying, I want to do correct grammar, and I'm not going to play your game. Right. I don't have to call you Sir. Oh, your name is Sir. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But that's not your, they, them is not you.
Yeah,
right.
It's like you're not entitled to your own grammatically incorrect stuff.
It's just all. I just hate how self-centered the world is, and I hate that is self-centeredness amplified because you must. You don't get the option. Yeah. You must.
Yeah, I mean, you guys must call me the Rhino from now on. Because
that's right.
Exactly.
That's
right.
He named
the Rhino.
me.
Well, that's the thing. Rhino went to the office and made it the Rhino.
Yeah. So, well, but it is what Kimmer calls you, the Rhino. He does call you the Rhino, so he gets it right.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
I've heard the promos.
Yeah, look, I just, again, this is so stupid to the point of these pronouns I've got. Not only are they, them, she, her, he, whatever. Now they have the neo pronouns, which make no sense whatsoever.
Like the XI thing or whatever that is.
I'm not going to run around like a quarterback with like a wrist guard looking up which pronoun is what. And be like, what do I call you?
I get up every morning and I say the exact same thing to myself. I'm a very special non-binary trans person.
Yes, you are.
That was her quote, but that's what I go with. I'm a very special non-binary trans person.
I'm completely content with who I am. 100%. So, Rhino, if you call me a dummy or Loesch, you say, man, that dude he's sloth-like. If you make fun of me, if you were to say something negative about me, and I know y'all wouldn't, but if you were to, I'd be okay with it. It wouldn't bother me because I'm content with who I am.
You need to look in the mirror and you have to say, I'm a very special non-binary trans person.
But see, that's the thing. I don't need to do that because I'm confident in who I am. I don't need the affirmation from other people. I'm just fine. It's people who are so insecure that they need someone else's affirmation to make them feel okay.
Call me names. Because I'm going to ignore it, let it go, and you are just going to go away. That's what ends up happening. Don't care.
It's so childish.
I'm fat.
So childish. Me too.
Fatty.
I am
Call me fatty. Yeah, well, you're a little chunky.
Right. I got a inner tube around my waist. I could float the river.
Some love handles.
Yeah, I could float the river without any
little spare tire.
Yes. Yeah. Without any device at all. You have to hear what Joe Biden wants his legacy to be. Next on the Morning Xtra. After a Fox News update. Tug, Rhino, and Los on Xtra 106.3.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster. Over the weekend, a series of articles in the Sunday Atlanta Journal-Constitution that were interesting. There's a surprise. And they weren't about race. Another shocker. What were they reporting on? The problems getting an operator on the line when you dial 911. There is an industry standard for 911 emergency call centers, and that is that every 911 call should be answered within 20 seconds. But it's not working that way in the metro Atlanta area.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. This week's guest is Marietta PD's Chuck McPhillamy. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 770-627-3235 or online at ATLbail.com.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the Podcast Park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
We don't just do foundation repairs. We set industry standards. Mark Beckham here, Atlanta Ram Jack. And while not all foundations are created equal, neither are foundation repair methods. That is why you should always turn to Atlanta Ram Jack for your foundation repair. We have 40 plus years of patents, innovations, and expertise, and we never recommend anything outside the scope of what you truly need. Simply put, we know how to get the job done right the first time. Book your free estimate at atlantaramjack.com today.
Springtime is here. Looking for a fun weekend with family, friends, and the kids? The Mitsubishi Electric Classic, presented by Adventure, Georgia's only PGA Tour Champions event, returns to Metro Atlanta April 26th to the 28th. Pick your favorite hole to watch along the ropes or find public seating throughout the course. Children 15 and under receive complimentary tickets with purchase by an adult. Join the excitement at TPC Sugarloaf in Duluth, Georgia from April 26th to the 28th. Tickets available at MitsubishiElectricClassic.com/tickets.
Introducing Sonder Health Plans, your trusted local partner for Medicare Advantage in Georgia. Only in Georgia. With Sonder, you'll get comprehensive coverage that's tailored to your needs. They offer $0 primary care visits, $0 premiums, and access to a wide network of Georgia healthcare providers. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com now to learn more about their value-based care that won't break the bank. Or call 888-428-4440. Sonder Health Plans, your doctors, your neighbors, your friends.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10 a.m. and The Kimmer Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Only on WFOM and W292EV Marietta. Extra 106.3 FM.
The third time was not the charm. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former President Trump denied yet again attempting to delay the first of his 4 looming criminal trials. Fox's Gernal Scott reports.
His lawyers argued their client, the presumptive Republican nominee for president, should be on the campaign trail and not at a courtroom defense table. It was quickly denied by New York Justice Ellen Gessmer. As of now, jury selection is on schedule to start Monday for his trial on charges he falsified company records to hide payments to an adult film actress, Stormy Daniels, to conceal an affair.
An affair the former president denies. Now, he campaigned in Georgia holding fundraisers.
But it's his views on abortion making headlines. Trump says he thinks Arizona should change its abortion laws after the state's Supreme Court ruled 1800-era laws banning the procedure can stand. This week, Trump urged Republicans to make abortion a state issue instead of pushing any federal standard.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Atlanta. In Phoenix, Democrats chanted shame, shame at the legislature as Republicans tabled discussion of a proposed repeal of that looming almost total abortion ban in Arizona. At the White House, President Biden toasted Japan's prime minister at a state dinner.
Join me in raising your glasses to our alliance, to our friendship.
Now, today they'll be joined by the president of the Philippines for talks on the threats China poses, especially around the South China Sea. And just ahead of those talks, China has blacklisted 2 U.S. defense companies for military sales to Taiwan. A shooting in Washington, D.C. left 1 person dead, 5 wounded, 2 of them kids.
This is another example, and I've been here before in this space, of violence that we just cannot accept in our communities.
D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith are looking for the gunman who opened fire from a car into a street. The Biden administration is finalizing new restrictions on gun buying that would require private sellers, like at gun shows, to conduct background checks. America's listening to Fox.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Want weather? Grab your phone. Need traffic? Grab your phone. Conservative news and talk, also on your phone. Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Today is National Pet Day, everybody. It's National Pet Day.
Yay! Tug, I'm on to you. First off, there's like 12 things every single day.
No, that's the truth.
Because my 9-year-old tells me about all the things that today is. There's always like 9 things.
That's exactly right.
So don't make me celebrate Pet Day or Being Petted Day.
Yeah.
Being whatever
Petted Day.
weird stuff you have today.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Day, that's real weird.
It's not as weird as what I was asked, what I could do with the OG, the poor guy.
Yeah, don't talk about that. That'll get us taken off the air. They will put their foot down.
Poor the OG is in that, there's nobody he's still taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't been...
He's not been snipped.
Snipped.
Yes.
And this is a tough time for him this early spring.
Well, explain DOG, because maybe people don't realize. So Rhino's lovely girlfriend, Erin, who is just a sweetheart, has several pets, but one of them is a dog named DOG.
DOG, yes.
Right.
DIOGI.
I think it's so clever.
But it spells dog.
It's dog.
Yes.
DOG.
DOG. But see, DOG is surrounded by...
How drunk do you have to be to come up with that?
That's so great, right?
I mean,
So
you've been eating those Neil Bortz gummies.
Yeah.
I came up with something. What do you think about DOG?
What should we name him? Who? Dog.
That's right.
DOG? Dog? Oh, there you go. Yeah, DOG is surrounded by 3 female dogs, and he's all alone in this situation, and the girls don't want anything to do with him right now, so he's running around all upset, drooling everywhere, and poor guy.
Well, but I do realize how bad of a person Tug is, because he had a choice here. He could do National Pet Day, or also today is also World Parkinson's Day for recognizing the disease, and yet you decided pets.
Well, I was just thinking that
you don't have a place in your heart for people suffering from Parkinson's.
Well, Lois, that's not true at all. That's
Muhammad
not true.
Ali, Michael J. Fox.
You chose not to recognize it with this time that you have.
I just thought the conversation would be a little.
Slot.
I thought the conversation would just be a little more lighthearted. That's what I was going for.
I see that you decided to not recognize Michael J. Fox and the contributions he's made to society.
Okay, let me back
Instead,
up.
you wanted to talk about DOG.
Well, I mean,
How dare you?
How dare you? You see this game you can play with all these things. There's like 10 things. There's like national whatever day.
I'm sure you're on the website, right, where it just lays it all out.
No, I'm not. I'm just looking up like what's important. And when you look up April 11th, it's National Parkinson's Day.
What's important?
Well, look. Okay. Well, let's talk about Parkinson's for a little while. Y'all go ahead. Y'all start, because I'm not sure where to go.
Michael J. Fox is amazing.
And
I think about him every day.
Yeah, and
it's a national. Oh, this actually works for you, Tug.
Okay. Yes, okay, here we go.
National Alcohol Screening Day.
Yeah. Wait, what's that?
I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean?
So this is, in this case,
like a breathalyzer.
I've got the information here, and it doesn't really say much. It just says National Alcohol Screening Day.
Yeah.
Let's go get a breathalyzer before today's Braves game and tell everybody it's National Screening Day, and we'll see you on the way out and see how much it changes.
That's right, because something tells me that it will.
Oh, yeah.
The cold beers be flowing. Yes. What? A new one? Okay.
Observed annually on March 17th and annually on April 11th. It's Submarine Day.
Well, there you go.
I
I was not a submariner, but I certainly appreciate it.
But what kind of, like a submarine as an actual submarine, or like a sandwich I can eat? Because I'm in for the sandwich
I gotta tell you, man, I lean sandwich if I'm getting to choose. Although submarines are cool, man.
They really are. I don't want to be in one though.
No, I mean I could do it.
Not for like 6 months.
Yeah, I could do it. But
what's the longest the Navy has guys down?
I think 3 months at a time.
Ooh,
but now the deployment's longer, but I think they can physically stay underwater for like 3 months.
Yeah, I heard one guy, I think he said like 60 to 90 days he was down there. I can't even imagine being in a sub in such tight quarters.
Yeah.
Underwater.
I can do it. I can
for
do it.
16 days.
I just wouldn't prefer to do it.
Yeah.
So your man Theodore Roosevelt,
Old Teddy,
as part of a purchase that was made while he was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, made the purchase of basically the first like functional submarine.
Right.
April 11th of 1900. And so since then, and by the way, the price was $150,000. Since then, it has now been kind of recognized by those people out there in the Navy as National Submarine Day.
Oh, well, there you go. Now, over
you didn't know that because you don't. You're not honoring your Navy roots.
I thought we would be talking about DOG. I thought we'd be talking about somebody's cat named Meownese or Stephen or Steph Curry. You know, I thought maybe we'd talk about some of those things.
Steph Curry, I like that.
This dude's got a pig named Snoop Hoggy Hog. I thought maybe we'd talk about that.
Okay, you know what? I'm back on your side. Screw you, Michael J. Fox.
And submarines.
And your day.
We don't care about none of y'all.
Submarines, Parkinson's, pets. You
Snoop
choose.
Porky Pork. Let's go.
Snoop Hoggy Hog.
All right. Well, I got one now called Snoop Porky Pork.
Okay, good enough. I like it. Ain't no problem. Somebody's got a cat named Spicy Beef Burrito.
All right. It's very creative.
A dog named Doc Palladay.
Oh,
it's very clever.
I like this. I like this.
These are the finalists for the wackiest pet names in America, and I'm trying to figure out.
If you had a cat, and I just tagged you in Twitter, and I gave you a little cat video to look at because I know how much you love them.
Cat videos.
This one's very cute. You're gonna like this one.
Okay.
And what would you name, like, if you had a cat? Could you come up with? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot now.
Like a wacky name?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know.
What would you name a cat anyway, even if it's not wacky?
Bill?
I like Bill.
I don't know.
Come here, Bill.
That's right. Dollar Bill, y'all. I don't know. Yeah, because we did have a cat when me and my wife first got married. We had a cat, and it got out of the house somehow or another, and she still blames me to this day that I let the cat out of the house, and I swear I didn't. And we named it Macy Gray.
There you go.
It was kind of a grayish color cat, and Macy Gray was the artist at the time that had that song I Try that was huge, early 2000s.
So it never came back?
No, it didn't. No.
If I had a hairless, annoying cat, I'd name it Bill Purr.
Bill. Oh, I guess that's good.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. See, that'd be good.
Maybe it was a hawk.
It might have been. It's funny you bring up the hawk because we had early, even before, I guess at the same time, we had Macy Gray, the cat. My wife wanted a rabbit, randomly wanted a rabbit. So she went out one day. I think I was doing a remote maybe somewhere, you know, where you go to a car lot and tell people how great the deals are at the car lot. You know?
Oh, yeah. Those are fun.
Tug the car salesman.
That's right. Come on out here and get your car today. They got 0% financing. Come on. I came home. Laura had this big old huge rabbit. I mean, I'm like, where'd you get a damn rabbit?
Yeah.
She's like, over the flea market. They had one right up Cleveland Highway in Dalton. She got her a rabbit, and she named it Ernie.
Oh.
And so my mom and daddy had this old dog lot they weren't using. It was probably the size of this table that we're in front of. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can kind of see. But I don't know what was this, about 8 by 10 or 8 by 8 or whatever it is. So they had a little dog lot, and I was like, well, maybe during the day we'll let the rabbit just stay out in the sunshine and eat the grass and just have a good life.
Throw a carrot over there.
Yes, or whatever. One day we came home, and Ernie wasn't in the dog lot.
Oh no!
And there were lots of hawk feathers surrounding the dog lot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
They probably just went out for a walk. Tug, it's okay.
They probably took Ernie to a surprise party.
They did. It was the surprise of Ernie's life. It sure was. And I had to explain to Laura what had happened.
Funny.
Yeah. She was like,
guess whose birthday it is?
Here's a prize. Ernie said it's not my birthday.
No,
I don't
Y'all go on about it. Y'all have fun. I'm gonna stay here. And so that big old
can't
hawk.
believe you put a rabbit in a pen outside and didn't think to yourself like,
maybe a hawk will come get it.
Here's an hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it would be better than leaving it in a pen in the house. You know,
Sure.
these things hop around and get some.
You'd still have that rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ernie would be living.
It was probably for the best, though.
You murdered Ernie, really?
I think it's probably for the best.
Kind of sacrificed it to the hawk gods.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, hawks
Nature's
gotta eat.
nature.
And tending to things I'm not a fan of.
Well, just think about the hawk. What it did was it picked Ernie up, took it for a little flight, dropped it.
Yep. And then
ate
it back up.
It's
going to be a
bloodbath.
Yes, it
dropped them for us.
Bloodbath.
There's a good hard rock to drop this fiery thing on.
Ow!
Dinner is served.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday to you.
He invited all of his other bird friends.
That's right. They all had a feast.
Buzzards and whatever.
All the bird friends were like, you won't believe this. These people down the street stuck this thing in a pen and just sat it out here for us.
They're feeding us.
Silver platter almost. I mean, what a bunch of morons.
Now they're all mad because you haven't refilled their their bowl.
Their rabbit bowl.
Oh, my Lord. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.
Are we supposed to talk politics?
This does remind me, because you brought up, going over to a car lot.
Yeah.
It only happened one time, and it was maybe the single most biggest error in terms of the people you put in a place.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like Porsche of Atlanta, and they sent Hoyt and I over there to do a show one time on like a Saturday.
When you were both on 680 The Fan, our sister station.
Yeah. And if there was ever anybody who screams, not Porsche,
it's you and Hoyt.
It's me and Hoyt.
Yeah.
We're like, come on out. Come test drive your Porsche. I don't have one.
And I can't buy one
I'll never
anytime
buy one
soon.
ever.
Yeah. I'll never have one. Tell me how it was.
But you're telling me, like, I could see it if it's, hey, here's Rhino for Rhino Chevrolet, Rhino Ford. Here's Tug for GMC. I'm like, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's Tug for Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know how to spell that. Is that 2 words or
Here's
one?
Los for Porsche.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I love it. They look great.
Yeah, and they are. Like, of the exotic cars, if I could choose one,
I'd get a Porsche.
Oh, me too.
Those things are unbelievable.
Love them. They're the greatest.
Yeah, I think the man that owns the company probably has a Porsche.
How come we don't do that
Yeah, the
anymore?
rest of us don't.
No.
How come we don't go out and push things anymore like that? That was always
Well,
fun.
I mean, I always thought it was a flawed premise to begin with, I'll be honest with you. Because truly, when radio stations did that a long time, and sometimes they still do, but it was all about having a commercial on the air for 2 hours while you're there. They wanted the live commercial more than anything else. Because, hey, come on, we're going to give away some Bon Jovi tickets, if you hang out for 2 hours. And you can get 0% financing. You're going to make a decision on the spot to buy a car so you can possibly win Bon Jovi tickets, and you just bought a Porsche. That's a lot of dominoes to fall.
I don't know. We had a signing. This is years ago. We had a signing at a dealership over in Kennesaw, and I believe it was a Toyota dealership. And you had like Ron Gant, Terry Pendleton, a handful of these guys were all out there. And the amount of people who showed up and then decided, well, let me just test drive a car.
Right.
Well, if maybe they sold an extra 4 or 5 cars, pretty cool. But
at least over the month, and probably not that day,
but
right?
you just got to get them in the door, you know? Because I haven't considered buying a new car for like 5 years. Man, last time when I was at Toyota of Cumming and I started looking at some of the cars they had there, I was like, oh, how could I make that work?
Yeah.
You just get them in the door.
Well, yeah, because it is
good cars.
Oh
man.
my gosh,
Forget
it is because you're the most recent to get a new car.
Yeah. That got me.
Well, yeah, but
I went over to like Jim Ellis and looked at that Ford, and I was like, man, that's nice.
Because it is
Here's
alluring.
Tug telling you, it got 0% interest for 60 months.
Yeah.
Buy today.
Buy today.
There may be a tape at my house of when I was at Star 94 where it goes something like, hey, it's Rhino live here at the BP on Spring Street. I've got two 12 packs of Coke for $4.99. If you come now, I have Star 94 lip balm, Star 94 t-shirts, and stickers for any of you.
Oh, the solo tours.
Get you a deal on a 6-pack of Coke.
Yeah.
And some stickers.
Yeah.
Boy, how enticing. I would drive to downtown Atlanta for that. Yes,
you know what?
wouldn't?
Do you know how many people showed up?
Probably
so many people.
A lot.
Oh,
Back in the
free
day,
stuff makes people move.
Back in the day, that worked. I don't know that it works as good as it used to, though. I mean, what would you stop for? I mean, is there anything that if you were listening to the radio and they said, come over here today, and let's say it's
a firearm.
Okay. Okay. Maybe there is something.
Yeah. Hey, I'm hanging out over here at the gun show. I'd be like, I'm going to go stop by.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It may
handing out free 9mm out front of the BP
but,
station
that's
in
not
Spring
realistic.
Street.
Right, that's not realistic.
I don't know. There are a lot of handguns by the BP
Well, like,
in Spring Street.
for a radio station to do.
But one of the biggest ones we do as a company is we cover the boat show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, Dickey Broadcasting always has a setup at the boat show because that is our audience. And let's face it, you get in front of those. Somebody, if you're ever like kind of hinging on like, should I own a boat?
Yeah.
The boat show will make you buy a boat.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all.
If Tug was out there going, hey, I'm at the BP station honoring Michael J. Fox for Parkinson's Day, I'd show up because I care.
Well, and it's clear that you do. Yeah, I
not
see
like
that
you,
a little
who'd just rather talk about dogs.
Well, I mean, it's the OG and
like we have
mayonnaise.
There's a show
Meowinaise
not very far from you, and you should probably go see it over at Sharon Springs, over at the Little League.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have where they're going to be doing a drive for old baseball equipment.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in for that. I would drop off for that. Yeah.
So I'm going to make it a point. I don't think I've told Dylan, but I'm just going to go jump on his show.
Okay, yeah.
I think I'm just going to go show up.
There you go.
Be like,
So
drop
it's
off
your
some
house.
equipment,
Yeah.
and then be like, hey, I'm here, and you're doing a show, and so I'm going to jump on your show.
I've always heard, though, you talking about the boat show, I've always heard the best day in a boat owner's life is the day he buys it, and the day he sells it.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've never owned a boat. I enjoy boats. It seems like something that I would like, but it seems like a lot of work, and I just hear horror stories, and I would rather know somebody with a boat.
Yes, that's the way to go.
That's the plan right there.
Yeah, boats are great as long as your friends invite you out on them.
Yeah,
But then when you have to like pay to have them, in a marina, then you have to clean them, and then you got to get the barnacles and the maintenance
and the winterization, and
Yeah.
then dry docking it or whatever.
I'll still buy a boat because I'm dumb one day.
That's right.
And I'll be that same guy.
All right. I swear we'll get to Biden's legacy. We might as well just knock out the headlines because we talked about boats and cat names.
It's your fault.
I know it's my fault.
That's the point, man. You decided to bring up Meow Mix and
I didn't
Meowinaise.
think it would go this long. I really didn't. But apparently it was a good topic because, by golly, we have been on it for 15 minutes. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, April 11th. Nearly 100,000 people are without power this morning as storms carrying heavy rain and wind gusts swept through the area last night. A wind advisory is still in effect this morning and will remain until 8 p.m. this evening. The strong wind gusts have taken down trees across metro Atlanta. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour are possible today during your commute. Overnight storms have also caused a delay to the start of the 2024 Masters. If you are traveling to Augusta for today's opening round, the opening gates have been pushed back. The tournament will not start before 9 a.m. This is the fifth consecutive year the tournament has been affected by rain. And Game 3 of the Braves series versus the Mets was postponed last night due to the storms. The game will be made up on May 26 when the Mets return to Truist Park. Alan Winans, who was scheduled to start last night, will take the mound today in the series finale. First pitch scheduled for 12:20.
Biden's legacy and MTG and Speaker Johnson, they are at a stalemate. It comes to a head today. Those discussions next On Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. After we're done at 10, the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, and a local afternoon show with the Kimmer. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 3 until 6.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
Hey, it's Rhino here for my friends over at True Prep, a locally owned and operated company that, well, they're your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies. True Prep, Marietta Cobb Parkway. You got to go check it out. You need to be prepared. You need to make sure your family's safe. You need to make sure that you have all the essentials because we know what they're doing to this economy right now. The entire administration. The essentials are sky high. Well, you need to make sure that you have everything you need in case of an emergency. And we know that we see bridges collapsing. We see trains overturning and our water supply getting contaminated. Even threats of China shutting down our water supply. What are you going to do in an emergency? Well, you better make sure you have the water filtration. There's one place you can get it, True Prep Marietta. In fact, they have everything you need, whether it's freeze-dried food, water filtration, real first aid kits, EMT grade first aid kits, firearms, AR-15s, firearm accessories, ammo, all at the lowest prices around. It's your one-stop shop. Go in, check them out. Tell them Rhino sent you over there, and they can get you started today if you're new to this. They even have some workshops. They're scheduled online. Go check it out online as well. But go visit, say hey to Matt, Joey, Amy. Tell them Rhino sent you over there, or visit them online at trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
Hey, sandwich lovers. Today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and Equal Housing lender.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the Podcast Park. See you around, Atlanta.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here, and with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is, so protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company. Painters you can trust.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use.
Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Bronies, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
You may know Bortz is back, but not everyone else does. Tell anyone who loves America, Bortz is back on the radio in Atlanta, and his new home is Extra 106.3. Listen to him now on the Extra 106.3 app.
About 25 minutes from now, you'll get a Neil Bortz daily update. He does his Bortz reports only on Extra 106.3. If you were to miss it, you can get it on the Extra 106.3 app. It's a very convenient, easy way to listen. And it has the flexibility so you can listen live or on demand. Morning Extra, Tug, Rhino, and Los. Biden wants his legacy to be something that it's impossible. And I'm going to tell you why his legacy wishes are impossible. Since he took office, gasoline is up 47.8%. Groceries up 21.1%. Eating out up 21.4%. Baby food 30%. Pet food 23%. Rent 20%. Electricity 28%. Natural gas 26%. Used car 20%. Airfare 32%. Transportation, public transportation 20%. And the real average weekly earnings down 3.9%. He can't live his legacy. And here's what he said he wants it to be.
Did you spend a lot of time thinking about what your legacy would look like?
Well, I hope the legacy is that I kept my word, that I said that the reason I was running was to help change the life of ordinary people.
You have.
Yeah. Reduce the prospect of war. And
you have
of Vietnam. And when I ran, I said that I was once asked, well, why, when I was 29 years old, so it must be a secret. And I said, yeah, the secret you got to ask yourself is, what are you willing to lose over? You figure out what you're willing to lose over, you got an idea of what you should be doing.
And he's just meandering.
And so I hope my legacy is that I was honest, straightforward, and did what I said.
Nothing about his legacy can come true. Nothing.
Honesty? You're the biggest. You're a pathological liar. You lied once again about being the first member in your family to go to college. You've lied about everything, and you've tried to become a part of every story that you've been a part of.
Your son died in Iraq.
And your son died in Iraq.
I mean, if you're going to not be truthful about the most basic, simple things that any Google search can fix, what won't you lie about? Now, and every politician lies. I'm just saying, if I was to tell you that I'm 24 years old, how much could you trust anything else I say when you look at me like, Lowe's, I kind of get the impression that you're 40 years old. No, I'm 24.
You're right.
We're talking about a basic thing that you can look up.
Right, exactly. And that's the biggest problem. And when you talk about war, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You got us in more wars than we know even what to do with. And we still haven't even touched Taiwan and China, which is coming because of what
in the next 18
done.
months. I predict in the next 18 months.
Your legacy is you're a complete failure. Your legacy is going to be, do you remember, because he couldn't, do you remember that man who couldn't remember where he was, what he was doing, who fell down the stairs, who fell over stages, who couldn't complete a sentence, who forgot whether people are alive or dead, who couldn't remember world leaders' names? That's your legacy.
It's going to be so strange to try and describe this to your children, to your grandchildren down the road, where you're going to talk about how we had this worldwide pandemic that sent the entire country into such a crazy tailspin that the person who was running the country, we decided shouldn't be doing it. Instead, we should put in a dementia patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to convince somebody of that.
And we thought that was going to be the sanity. We thought that was going to be, we're going to get the adults in the room here.
And of course it's not. But then for him to say, he started out on my legacy to be that I'm for the common man, right? For the average everyday guy. First of all, you don't recognize the average everyday guy. You don't like the average everyday guy. You have nothing in common. And I read for you before that clip all of these just basic necessities that are in some places almost 50% higher to about at least over 20% higher since you've taken office. So everything that common people need, you have made almost out of their reach.
Oh, Rhino talked about going to the store the other day and just looking to buy steaks and looking to buy some buns. And before he knows it, he's walking out of there. He's like, how is this $400?
Yeah.
Because the upper middle class is dead. It's dying. It's dead. Upward mobility is not available. I heard a really good stat yesterday. I was listening to Daniel Horowitz. I was checking out his podcast because he did a deep dive into some of the numbers we covered, where he wrote about the job numbers in the Blaze, and then he covered it as part of his podcast. And so I wanted to listen to it. And he had a number that was not part of the article that was really interesting. So think about Joe Virgin River, and think about people 18 to 24.
That's my son. Yeah, Joe and my son are in that category.
So Joe is starting off his career. He's doing Braves Radio Network. He's working at this station, and anybody who makes him an offer, he's like, "Yeah, I'll go do that.
I'll do it.
I'll go take care of that." So back in 1990, 1 out of every 5 18 to 24-year-olds reported they had no income. All right?
Yeah.
1 out of 5. It's now 1 out of 3.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So Joe is actually part of the, hey, you've escaped this.
He's on the upper end.
But think about,
you're the lucky one.
A third do not have any income 18 to 24.
Well, people aren't going to hire, and we know that. We see these jobs reports. We hear about what they're doing and, there are more jobs, higher wages, but none of it's true. And when people are going into the workforce, they can't find a full-time job that actually pays. These kids are coming out of college, and yes, they have student debt, and they're not finding jobs because, number one, they're going into majors that don't really translate to the real world. So, of course, they're behind in that. And then they're asked to take $16, $15 an hour jobs. You're lucky to have a job, and that's something that people and employers are telling them. You're lucky to even get this job, so yes, we're going to pay you $15 an hour. And all the prices, you can't live anymore. The wages don't match.
Well, Joe Biden is going to be forever celebrated. Even, if he goes down in November, he'll be forever celebrated by the faculty lounge. Because what did Joe Biden do? What is the legacy when he talks about that? Joe Biden created a level of dependence on government that we haven't seen in the better part of 60 or 70 years.
And that should scare you to death for what the future holds for America. It should scare you to death. And, the other thing is, if you want to be successful in life, it's a really simple formula, right? It's graduate high school.
Go get married.
Yes. And stay married.
Yeah.
That's it. And you know who hates that message more than anybody else? Leftists.
Well, but here's the issue now. When you decide to graduate high school, go get married, have kids, stay married, the problem is now you can't afford what it was. And because that was typically, and in fact, Daniel Horowitz brought it up during his podcast on Conservative Review. He talked about how these were the conditions by which you will be successful in this country, yet the jobs and the nature of what the economy is, you can't afford. Joe can't go hook up with his girlfriend, get married tomorrow, and start a family. It's like there's no way you can afford it.
No
it's
way.
It's what it is.
I mean, it's hard enough. I mean, just to be in a 1-bedroom apartment right now, you have to have 2 incomes already. Not to mention starting a family, having food. You're paying, if you're in an apartment right now, you're probably paying over $3,000 a month just to live by yourself, just to be able to buy food. God forbid you're a single parent. God forbid that you have 3 to 4 kids. Now you're really out of reach. It does not make sense.
And we saw this with Jimmy Carter. Nice man, didn't do things correctly. Joe is going to be corrupt politician, and look at the amount of dependence that was created on government, the size that government grew, and the inability for people to live regular lives. Not extravagant, regular lives. That's going to be his legacy.
Yeah, that's a terrible legacy indeed. Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. We've got a stalemate, Rhino, with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Speaker Johnson, and we detailed it yesterday why they're in that stalemate. Obviously, Speaker Johnson says, yeah, we want to send $60 billion to Ukraine. Yeah, of course we do. The American people don't. And the only person that's really standing up to him and shouting from the rooftops, besides us, is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She's the only one working for the people at this point. And look, it's not like she doesn't have supporters in the background. Matt Gaetz and her seem to be aligned on a lot of things.
She's the face of it, though, right?
But she's going to take the fall based on, look at this chaotic woman trying to cause. But what she's actually doing is, give us all the chaos, because what she's doing is saying, stop the uniparty from working together. What Mike Johnson has done is shook hands with Joe Biden, taken the deal that McCarthy, which we threw out for a reason, he's taken the deal and almost made it worse for us because we didn't get anything done in the border. They've been pushing this off. She's been nice enough to say, hey, let's get through this FISA, because I thought that was huge yesterday and good for them to block FISA yesterday. I was so happy to see that. but she's not playing games. And Mike Johnson knows he's going to have to talk to her. Again, this is a political election season game that he's playing. He thinks he'll garner votes by working with Democrats.
I just like the idea that you do have somebody who is pushing back that screams, because there's aspects where Marjorie Taylor Greene will all be like, well, that's very uniparty-esque. And then there's times where I go, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And then this is one of them.
Yeah.
This is one of them where, and I think she catches a bad rap at times because she's loud. Suddenly, whenever you are loud, that makes you like, oh, especially when you're a woman, oh, that makes you a terrible person. You're an idiot.
And a conservative.
Right.
And the mainstream media is just going to ostracize you.
I'm sorry. I would like more loud agitators. I would like more people that say
Disruptors,
business as usual is not happening like this. And if we get to a point where we all agree, okay, you're going to get something, I'm going to get something, fine. That's how deals are supposed to happen. It's not supposed to be, here's this one party system that essentially just agrees on what direction we're going to go, and anybody who tries to say anything otherwise is ostracized.
I'm just tired. I'm tired of people telling me that, yeah, I'm going to get in there and do the work of the people.
I'm going to go fight in Washington.
Exactly. And then 70% of people say we do not support sending more money to Ukraine, and yet they do it anyway.
They do that. They continue to sign bills that don't make any sense, including the government funding bill, which has so many little Franken bills thrown out throughout the entire bill that you're just sitting here going, this is just a huge monster of mess that our kids are going to be stuck with, and the deficit continues to rise, and we continue. We're at almost 35 trillion now. I mean, come on, enough's enough. Our kid, and it continues to go up, and that's 14 trillion more than in 2020. Like, what are we doing? What are we thinking? And we're allowing this to continue to happen, and we're playing the game like, oh, well, we got to win elections. Oh, we have to win elections. We've got to work with them. But you haven't won. You haven't done anything for the American people. What you've done is cost them more money. You're not winning. You're winning elections. You're lining your pockets. That's all this is. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, and the ones that they call chaotic are the ones that are going, hold on. This is what the American people are saying to us. Enough's enough.
Interesting to me that AOC would talk about spending even more money because she's all in favor of Biden's vote buying debt forgiveness, student debt forgiveness. She thinks it's a good idea, and she actually thinks more people going to get degrees that won't get them a job is a good idea because, look, you and I are going to have to pay for it.
People getting the student loan forgiveness, their student loans canceled, it means that, it's hope to buy a house or have a kid or travel abroad or maybe even go back to school and pursue a career that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have. I mean, one of the reasons that's not me now is because I didn't feel like I'd be able to afford medical school. And so hopefully someone else who's at an ISEF competition somewhere will be able to do that because of this.
So go run up some more student debt because the government, you and I, are going to pay for it and hang on a minute. There's not a chance that she was going to medical school. No. Not because she couldn't afford it, and maybe she couldn't. It's because she would never, ever, ever get into medical school unless the standards are dumbed down so
yes, she
low.
would.
Well, female,
she would now. Minority. Of course she would.
There's got to be some standards, right? Rhino? There's standards to get in medical school, you'd think.
You would think, but I don't think there are anymore.
Yeah, I think they've let them go. But they've relaxed them.
This is what you do because you know what? I mean, that was so key in what she said was, wait a minute. So you're saying if you ran up student debt, then we'll go ahead and cancel it so you can go run up more? And I get it because, look, I'm a fat guy. If you tell me, if Carlos goes, hey, Rhino, I got free cake over here for you. I'm going to come back every day and go, you got more free cake, bro? Because that's what we're going to continue to do.
Yes, please.
We have that bear trap.
Yeah.
He's going to be like that. You caught me in that trap yesterday. You going to do it again? No, you're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Cake's right over there.
This is the stupidity of it, though. They want you to live off of the government, and this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. What she's saying makes no sense. You want to go to medical school? Great. I implore you to go ahead, please. But you're going to take on the debt. There are other ways to find out how to make this work for yourself.
It reminds me, remember when Elon Musk and Don Lemon were having the conversation about lowering the standards at medical school, and Don Lemon couldn't for the life of him, he couldn't for the life of himself understand how lowering the standards at medical school would affect anybody.
Right.
Wait, what? You're just gonna let anybody? You gonna let me operate on somebody? Come on. But that's
not my game. I couldn't do it.
No.
I don't care. You free scholarship or not, it's not my game. I'm not going to do it. And you lower your standard. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. I could tell you that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with telling you that. I'm comfortable enough to say, yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be a good lawyer. I wouldn't be a good doctor. I mean, there's all kinds of things I wouldn't be good at.
Carlos would, though.
Yeah. If there's anybody in the room, yes.
I just got tired after, I guess it would have been, let's see, 18 years of school.
Yeah.
High school, college, postgraduate. At that point, we're done. We're done now.
I've had enough. Thank you. I've had enough.
I want to be a doctor like Dr. Jill. I was going to go to medical school, too.
That's right.
I'm Dr. Jill.
When we come back on Extra 106.3.
Whoopi Goldberg says I'm the best doctor in the world.
That's who I get my advice and news from, Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, she'll never steer you wrong. Bet you don't know why Biden and the federal government isn't honest with you about the inflation numbers. If you don't, you will next. Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the air until 10.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Google has now changed the definition to reveal they are no longer including business bloodbath. Oh, my God.
Playing with words is what they do.
Changing the definition for political purposes of the American language.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
If you're in business, you've rolled the dice, you've taken the risk. Now you want to grow that business even bigger. You want to make a difference in your community, to you and your future, your retirement. You want to pass down a business and a legacy to your kids and grandkids. But now you need extra capital to get it done. You go to the bank, they hem and haw. They'll hoot and holler with you, but they're not going to do anything that you need to get done. Let me tell you who will. First Liberty Building and Loan down in Noonan. Brant Frost and the Frost family, they've been loaning to businesses just like yours since the 90s. I'm going to give you an example. Medical company in Florida. Yes, they are based here in Georgia, but you can use them across the country, no matter where your business is. Medical company down in Florida needed $3.5 million to purchase another provider company in Louisiana. And then in other parts of Florida, they wanted to expand their footprint. They wanted to gain cost efficiencies that increased profitability. Other lenders, the company was too new. So they didn't give them the funding they needed. Guess who did? First Liberty Building and Loan. And now the company is getting the benefit of that scale and is more profitable too. Could you be the next success story with Brant Frost and the Frost family down at First Liberty Building and Loan in Noonan? It only takes about 10 minutes to figure out if you're a good fit for them and then if they're a good fit for you. You can do that. Get all the information, the contact information at firstlibertyga.com. It's firstlibertyga.com.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Hey, Atlanta golfers. Did you know that one of the best courses in Georgia is located right here in Tucker? Heritage Golf Links is a beautiful mixture of modern and traditional link-style play with incredible facilities and beautiful views designed around a 20-acre lake. And when you're done playing, have a drink at our full bar or a great meal while sitting on our lakeside patio overlooking the course. So come on out and have a great full Georgia day at Heritage Golf Links. Book your tee time online at heritagegolflinks.com or on our new app that is available now.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3 with daily commentary you'll hear throughout the day. And he's on live with a Morning Extra every Tuesday morning at 7:30. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3. And catch all of Neil's commentary on the Extra app.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Before we get to the story time, we were just talking about burning trash. Y'all say this like it's something you've never participated in. I grew up in Dalton, Georgia.
Right.
People burn their trash in the backyard in big old barrels.
In Towns County, that's the way it goes
exactly, man. I mean, y'all act like us.
I just think it'd be fun.
I grew up with it. It's real to me.
I think it'd be funny if Carlos, just in Forsyth County in his wonderful neighborhood, just went into the driveway and started burning trash.
My neighbor Sarah. So
trash.
When her mother passed on, they had all of these documents that they had in the house, and I mean just so many documents. And she just decided, I'm not living with these things anymore. I'm taking them out back to the fire pit. And so for about 4 hours, she had like a fire pit going of just documents.
Yes.
Wow.
And so my wife I come home and I'm like, hey, are they having a fire pit party out there? She's like, I think Sarah's just burning stuff.
She's just burning trash.
And by the time her husband came home, just saw all of this stuff.
Because it
flies away. Yeah, she almost tried to burn down all of Forsyth County.
My Lord.
Black smoke going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she's a pyro, so she's into that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
My dad and I did that a couple weeks ago.
Just burn garbage?
Well, we were burning documents.
Oh, just documents specific.
Classified?
Okay. All right. Well,
Very.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Virgin River House.
Yeah.
Just so many classified documents laying around.
Burning all over the place.
All right, story time is brought to you by Atlanta Ramjack, your local foundation repair experts. AtlantaRamjack.com.
Thank you, Ramjack, and thank you, Joe Virgin River. Let's start with this piece of audio from CNBC. This is Rick Santelli. And everyone that is out there in the market right now is trying to figure out, why do we continue? I mean, we obviously figured out the whole inflation thing, but we can't get it under control. We keep raising rates at the Fed, and then we decide, okay, we'll freeze rates and we'll see what happens. Your indexes that are out there, for instance, gold. Gold says that we're in a recession, but yet the housing market says we're not. It's like there's all these economic indicators where nothing makes sense. Take a look at Santelli and what he's about to tell you, and I'll tell you why, from this standpoint, they won't tell you the truth about all this stuff.
3.5. This is 3/10 hotter than we looked at in the rearview mirror, 3.2. To find a bigger number than 3.5, you're going back to May of last year when it was, I am wrong, September of last year when it was 3.7. And finally, what many would consider the most important number, year over year, CPI core, 3.8, hotter than expected, equals the rearview mirror. To find a higher number, January was 3.9. And what's the lowest it's been of late? Well, 3.8. Our last look and what we have today actually is the lowest since 3.0 in April of 21. The issue is it's still running hot.
So inflation stays hot.
Yep.
That's what we're dealing with. And if you just look at the numbers, the government's numbers, it'll tell you that inflation has hit about, to an extent, about 19-20% of where it's at. Okay, here's where they're lying to you, all right? That number is a lie, and you know it, I know it. We joked around about it last segment. Rhino told you. Walked out of going to go buy stuff and was like, why is my bill $400? Like, how has this happened? So this goes back to the late 70s, and it's a term called COLA. Now, I mean, I reference Joe because Joe likes cola, and it's just kind of his thing, but that doesn't make any sense to him. And honestly, it shouldn't make sense to you or I or Rhino or Tug because we're not retired. COLA refers to cost of living adjustments.
There you go. Yep.
Now, if you go back to what happened in 1979, you had had the portion of the country where things were in basically into a recession, and you started to see an inflationary environment. Now, what happened? You can go back to the COLA numbers, and this is going back to 1980, 1981. What happened was you had small cost of living adjustments that were made for those retirees that were drawing Social Security. The problem was your cost of living adjustment suddenly jumped to 14.3% in 1980. And in 1981, it was 11.2. So what did the government do? They weren't just going to give everybody a 14% cost of living adjustment and then an 11% cost of living adjustment. They decided at that time, let's change the way this is calculated. That was the game, so that they are not stuck. Because the rule of 72 basically shows you that you're going to have basically compounding interest. Things are going to double and double and double over time.
Financial advisors use this all the time.
All the time. They will tell you about that rule of 72. Well, it not only equates to how you save money, but how you're spending money, your obligations. And so the federal government looked at it and said, we can't have this compound in the way that it's going to if we calculate it correctly. So they've changed the corrections. If you were to go back and take a look at what the numbers we used to calculate inflation was, that 3.5% is really closer to 12%. Okay?
Yes. Yep.
So when you're sitting back and saying 3.5%, it feels like more.
That's right.
Because it is more. So when the government tells you, listen, it's like 19.9%. No, it's closer to 40%.
Yeah, that's the $450 grocery bill. That's the, oh my gosh, I'm making pretty good money, but all my money's gone by the time I pay all my bills.
Don't feel like I'm making pretty good money.
Right. And then you're looking and going, hold on, we can't afford this. We're going to have to start cutting back on the food we're eating or what kind of food we're eating when you're planning all these things. This has been going on for so long, and they know that most people will not pay attention to this. But you know, the good thing is I saw CBS News. Inflation ain't going away. We're in trouble. The real media now has to. They know that they can't lie about these numbers anymore.
What's strange about it is that for the most part, when it comes to the consumption of network television, it is an older crowd. Well, you can't sit back and keep telling people, like my parents who are both retired, who watch network news on a regular basis, hey, everything's fine, when they're having to make adjustments based off of what they... Now, granted, they both retired where they put money aside, but if you're talking about somebody who's living off that Social Security check, and they're saying, hey, listen, things are up by 40%, and the government's saying, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not there. We'll make a COLA adjustment, but you ain't getting 40% more on the check.
No, it's right. And that's the thing. Those people, because by and large, the retired population in the United States hasn't saved well and are living off of those checks.
The crazy number that you can go to, that if we talk about what you were being paid in 2019 versus today, which is not that big of a deal. I mean, you might say, oh, it's 5 years ago. It's not really that big a deal economically. If you want to ride this stuff out and not feel it, you have to have a cost of living increase from your company of about $50,000.
That's amazing.
For whatever you made 3 years ago, $50,000 more.
Our cost of living is $75,000 for a single person. That's a big number compared to 5 years ago.
No question about it, man. I'm telling you, and we have a cut we'll use probably in the 9 o'clock hour, I believe. It was where Jim Clyburn was kind of talking about what you're discussing now, Lowe's, and he is towing the Biden line. No, everything's good. I know what you see. I know things are a little more expensive, but mainly that's misinformation on social media. And then in the middle of him speaking, they come out and say, okay, it went up, the cost, the CPI went up even more than we expected.
So if you have a bear that's scratching at your back door and it wants into your house, what do you think is going to happen when I'm the one telling you, no, there's no bear?
There's no bear.
There's no bear there. No, I'm telling you, there's a bear at my back door and it's scratching to get in. No, that's not a bear. It's a cat.
That's exactly right.
It's nothing
to worry about.
Don't worry about it. No big deal.
That's right. Go right out the
I'm
back
Jim
door.
Clyburn. It's fine. It's not a bear.
That's right.
It's no bear.
It's nothing. It's misinformation on social media. Don't
You're
worry
imagining
about
the bear. It's no bear.
It's a teddy bear.
It's a friendly bear.
It's a very friendly bear.
Go give it a hug.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 when we continue. The Lord's Chicken got an unexpected visitor yesterday, and it was good. Next on Extra 106.3.
I like what you did there.
I like that.
And it was good.
It was huge.
That's right. We got a Board Report, Fox News update, and then more of the Morning Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Tax season again and again. Most people have no clue about how much income taxes they pay to the federal government. Those are the ones that say, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting some back. Well, the Wall Street Journal had a little poll to see if people had a clue about who paid what in income taxes. Most people thought the top 1% of income earners paid about 1% of the income taxes. Wrong. They pay 42%. 1/3 of Democrats said 1%. 22% said about a 30%. 25% said 12%. Nobody guessed the 42%. 54% of the people questioned wanted high-income earners to pay more. They should pay their fair share. Boy, do the Democrats and the left love that phrase. People should pay their fair share of income taxes. Now, if these people knew that the top 1% of income earners paid 42% of all of the income taxes, maybe they wouldn't be shouting, they need to pay their fair share. Why don't they know that? Blame the media. The narrative here that people, rich people, aren't paying their fair share is a Democrat narrative. It's all very simple. The rich aren't paying their fair share, therefore we need to raise taxes. Now, it's just me, and I did study journalism in college, but I thought the media was supposed to report the facts. They know the facts, my friends. The media, they know these statistics. They will not report them. Why not? Because it goes against the Democrat narrative that evil rich people need to pay their fair share. The facts are ignored to promote Democrat slogans. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
Pack your bags and join the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team in Dublin, Ireland as Toe meets leather to kick off the 2024 football season in Dublin. The Aer Lingus College Football Classic will feature your Yellow Jackets versus the Florida State Seminoles in a special Week 0 matchup on August 24th, 2024. Don't miss this unique opportunity to visit one of the world's most popular travel destinations while cheering on the Jackets on a global stage. For travel packages, tickets, and more information, go to gt2ireland.com. Sting 'em.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. Look out. The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6, just like the Kimmer.
Meanwhile, the NAIA, which governs 250 small colleges around the country, has banned transgender athletes from competing in the women's sports by a vote of 20-0. And this is pretty cool. That's finally somebody is showing some balls, literally, and is showing that there's
support the women. What happened to support the women? I thought we were all for it was all the women. Me Too movement and believe the woman, and all of a sudden they say, well, women, you can be a guy.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Anger in Arizona. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
That's in the legislature. State Rep Annalise Ortiz and other Democrats chanting at Republicans for ending discussion and adjourning amid attempts to repeal a near total ban on all abortions looming after Arizona's Supreme Court upheld an abortion ban dating back to 1864. Former President Trump said while campaigning that Arizona ban goes too far and it will be straightened out.
Former President Trump's first stop in Georgia, Chick-fil-A, where he urged Atlanta's black community to back him.
I've done more for the black community than any other president since Abraham Lincoln.
Trump, who lost Georgia in 2020, is back in the state to raise money.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Atlanta. In New York, a third Trump attempt this week to delay his first criminal trial was rejected by a judge. He calls it election interference. Jury selection is supposed to start Monday. The former president charged with falsifying records related to 2016 payments to keep quiet an affair he denies having. At the White House, President Biden honored Japan's prime minister at a state dinner.
We've been brought together the same hopes, the same values, the same commitment to democracy and freedom.
Today, they and the president of the Philippines will hold talks on threats China poses, threats that FBI Director Christopher Wray may discuss at a House hearing.
Wray says the FBI opens a new investigation into China every 10 hours. Some of those investigations could be opening right here in the United States after a surge of Chinese nationals crossing the southern border near San Diego, home to the U.S. Navy's 3rd Fleet, 2 Marine Corps bases, and West Coast SEAL teams.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson, 1 person's dead and 5 injured after a shooting in Washington, D.C. Several others were hurt when gunfire interrupted a Muslim end of Ramadan celebration in Philadelphia. The Biden administration is finalizing new rules to expand background checks on more firearm sales, like online and at gun shows. America's listening to Fox.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their 2nd month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand, and you get a free education here. We're not going to charge you like colleges do. We're going to educate you as best as we know how. We have Dr. Medina leading the charge. He is, what are you, two credits away from your doctorate?
I mean, it's like more like 10.
Okay, 10.
If I wanted to, but I don't want to do that.
I know, but I'm trying to just give the level of education in here. I'm a 3-time college dropout, so that's the...
It's always where you go, so he did this, and his master's in this, and I dropped out of school 3 times.
That's right. That's the kind of the diversity.
But if it makes sense to all of us on the show, then that's what it should be. We shouldn't be talking over anybody's heads, and I think what we do really well is we take complicated things and we make them make sense for people.
In a poll, 55% of people say they rely on Google more than they do their formal education. And on average, we Google 5 basic questions every day. That's what we've been reduced to.
Really? 5 basic questions.
On average.
Do they list them, or they just say these are the 5?
I don't
Like,
see the
food
actual
near
list.
me.
Yeah.
It's probably one of them.
Yeah, maybe so. No, but
actually, now I think about it. Yeah, I've done that one before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Who
recently,
restaurants
what near me?
Yeah.
Or like when I'm not sure how a word should be written.
Yes.
You know, like the tenses.
Right.
Or even something that is, I don't know.
How do you pronounce?
Yes, all that
done
stuff.
that.
all the time.
I'm big on that, especially when I used to have to do sports reports, and I want to make sure I had the name right. Like I was constantly.
How do you pronounce whatever? So there's a couple things that stand out to me with this information, is that we rely on Google, which we don't trust. To begin with, maybe on simple things like how do you pronounce something, you can, but if it's anything above, how do I use this word in the right tense, I don't know that I trust anything that Google is going to give me.
Right.
There's that part of it, and that we've become so reliant on technology that we can't do anything on our own anymore. I mean, and it's trending in a direction where it's going to get worse rather than get better.
Well, I talked about it today, with the tree down in the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, what's the best way to get back out of
example.
here? And, in the old days, I had a map, or I knew the streets because you had to drive them. And now here I am looking on a map, trying to circle around, going, wait, which way can I go? Which way can I go? And it was so frustrating and confusing. The same thing with, math and science and all these. It's been made so easy for everyone. We forget how to do basic things.
This is fascinating. Google says 81% of people, and when's the last time 81% of people agreed on anything? Google says 81% of people would be willing to take an adulting crash course on things like managing their money, doing their own taxes, which Lois does now, and home buying and mortgages. Just the basic stuff that we should have learned in high school that was never taught in high school.
So it's funny you mentioned this, because I was watching one of those ads where they'll talk about adults going back and getting their GED. And in my mind, I thought, how valuable would it be if all you did was, and again, your education level probably is well above it, where all you did was you went and learned how to handle a checkbook.
Adult crash
and basic
course.
finance and stuff. I'm telling you, I thought the exact thing this past weekend. As I'm doing my taxes, I'm sitting back going, man, could you imagine if I didn't know how to, again, I'm sick, but if you didn't know how to do this stuff, how do you manage all the things that are going on around you right now?
Yeah, I don't know how to, because you know what? I'm not good with the taxes. I don't understand it as much.
It's awful.
It's awful.
Trust me, it's just terrible. I hate it.
And then, the next thing you know, you got to go pay for it, and even that's up. You're paying $300-$400 to have someone do your taxes. You're like, oh, man, what's going on?
Where am I winning?
Where am I winning? You're not going to win. I love the crash course. I love they did it. I was in the golf business with high school golfers going into a college, and some of them going professional, like Ricky Thaler, who was going to college and who would become a professional. But one of the things that they did in these kind of crash courses for these kids. Understand, you're going to make money. This is how you need to take care of it. This is how you need to set up. They started giving these kids these crash courses. It should be done for adults, because a lot of us have never gotten through that part to be able to learn that. Now, listen, I'm not going to go learn about taxes. I'm still going to let someone else do that. It is easier nowadays with a lot of the software and AI. I get it. But in order to get all those loopholes, you probably want to know more, like Carlos, so I might make him do it.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. The tax code is 6,871 pages. Then, if you add in tax regulations, tax guidelines from the IRS, it goes up to about 75,000 pages.
So I was a big advocate on changing of the tax code more than a decade ago. And when the Donald Trump tax cuts came in, I was sitting there with the pom-poms going, not because it was going to benefit me, it's because I felt like what it was going to do for the corporate tax rate. When it comes to just you, Joe American, the tax code, as long as you don't have anything too complicated going on, it's not that crazy. But if you do,
then
good Lord.
Wacky. Yeah. But I don't think people realize this too.
Make money in multitudes of states. See what happens.
Yeah, which is challenging, no doubt. I've hosted like financial shows over the years, for like the past 7 or 8 years, with tax advisors, tax planners, financial advisors around the country.
Well, that makes you an expert now.
No, it does not. Believe me. That's the beauty of doing those shows, is I'll ask the questions that I don't know, and there's so many. And
Tobetax.com.
Yeah.
Sign up now.
Exactly. Let's go. I'll be glad to file your taxes for you, man. You'll be in trouble.
Call the tax tugger now. 404-741-1230 with all your tax questions.
That's right. The tax tugger dot. That's right. Let's go. No, but I would ask those questions because I know people, and I would ask the same questions over and over because it just, until you get it beat in your head. The one thing that came out of all those shows is that in the tax code it says it is your responsibility to pay as little in taxes as you're required by law. Not tax evasion. That's not what I'm talking about. Tax avoidance. Tax avoidance, it is your responsibility.
Hide your money, y'all.
To avoid paying as many taxes as you can within the law.
Okay. Zero.
Tax evasion, illegal. Tax avoidance is your responsibility.
I love that.
We're the Democrats on pay your fair share. You know what I mean?
Right.
It says it in the code. It is your responsibility not to.
Yeah, I'm all for that too. Yeah,
it's getting harder to hide it.
Well,
that's what's
we got 87,000 IRS agents.
Yes,
now
exactly.
Coming
it's
right after you. That's right. Well, they're not going after big corporations. They're going after us.
No, I told this to my wife last night because we were talking about it as we're finishing up taxes. It's like, now, I didn't reference Ted Cruz, but I'll reference it with you guys because Ted Cruz would kind of turn her brain off. She'd be like, oh, Ted Cruz. But he flat out told you the reason why they hired all these people is not to go after the millionaires and billionaires. It's to go after you. You, the middle class, are the largest amount of taxpayers. They have to go after the middle class because that's where the money comes from to fund this entire country. It doesn't come from millionaires and billionaires. You could take every dollar they had. It's not enough to run it.
Or the lower class.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to go get these people.
That's exactly right. Man.
Well, you got to remember,
they're doing it.
Corporations don't pay taxes. We pay the taxes for the corporation. It's actually, you just
Boards talks about it all the time.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So yes, they're going to come after you, not the corporations.
The only reason that we have a corporate tax rate is to establish what it's going to cost them to do business within our state and within our country. So when we were at one point hitting these companies up for, let's say, 27, 34%, you were basically telling them, don't do business here because it's going to cost you more. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to raise your prices. Once we lowered it, suddenly they were more willing to do business here. It's a point of access is what it comes down to. So stop running off your corporations.
Right. Isn't it funny because they are not paying? So what you're doing is you're buying an asset from a corporation, you're paying the corporate taxes on that, and then at the same time they're going to get you for that asset later anyway.
There's no winning.
Have fun.
Exactly.
But that was always the point, was that when you had somebody who was based, let's say in China or let's say in Mexico, and their corporate tax rate was at what it was at, and so they're giving you a good or service it's comparable, yet it's 10 or 15% less than the American good, you were typically buying the other one. We lowered our corporate tax rate so we could be competitive.
Yes.
And now we've turned it right around. We've done the exact opposite with Joe Biden and the Biden administration. Now, Donald Trump was in town yesterday, and he went to the Lord's house. He went and had the Lord's chicken. I've never met anybody that don't like Chick-fil-A. It took my wife a while to come around, and I know, Rhino, it took you a little while to come around. But
on God?
Yeah. Well, no. On his chicken. On the Lord's chicken.
Laura was like, I don't want no God's chicken.
That's right.
I don't want no God.
He didn't make this chicken.
That's exactly right. No, it did. For a long time, she just didn't. It wasn't her favorite. And then finally, when we were married 23 years and, I don't know, a couple of weeks, or not even a couple of weeks, about 10 days, I finally convinced her that Chick-fil-A is good. And Rhino, it took a long time to come around, and then now you're on board. Donald Trump goes into Chick-fil-A yesterday, and he buys everybody in the building something to eat, which is great. Man. Look, good press. I understand why you do it. Yeah, that's what they've been telling you. But to me, it was interesting to see how people embraced him, how people talked to him, how people interacted with him. Because if you look at the news at night, the people that he spoke to should have been throwing things at him.
That's what a woman told him in there. She's like, we don't buy into the media. We love you.
Right, exactly.
They flat out told him. We always talk about how, like, for instance, Kamala Harris cannot find a way to create a bridge to anybody. Like, she's just too weird.
Genuine connection.
Right. And we talk about how Joe Biden does it by lying. Like, he tells you he grew up here, he did this, he would, and again, he's just trying to create a connection to people. Donald Trump is a billionaire, does it by McDonald's and going into Chick-fil-A. I mean, that, like, you have a billionaire who's showing up to go eat the food that you do. And he likes it.
Yes. And you see this, though, not only here, but you see it when he stands outside and the police officers come up and they shake his hand or wait for him to shake their hand. You see him connecting to soldiers. You see him in situations where real Americans are coming up. It's not staffers like you see with Biden. It's not people just crowded around him in an ice cream shop that are put there, that are plants. This is something, Donald Trump isn't bringing chicken to a black family to make a commercial. That's Joe Biden who's doing that.
I saw that commercial. It was very weird.
It's very weird. What Donald Trump is doing is going to places that he knows. Chick-fil-A is Atlanta. When you think Atlanta, you think Chick-fil-A a lot of times.
And absolutely. Strategically.
And they love him.
Yes, a conservative company that makes it a point to not operate on Sundays, which, remember, they were catching flack over, they must not support gay people.
Yes.
Okay, like that was a thing 10 years ago. It was how do you attack Chick-fil-A?
So it lasted 1 week, by the way.
Yeah, and so not only is the strategy smart for where you decide to go and the reaction that you got, but then again, making that connection to you're not supposed to have, according to the news media, young black people coming up to Donald Trump and admiring him.
And taking pictures and having a genuine exchange.
Right. It's not supposed to happen. Remember, he's a racist. Oh, look at all. It's like, hold on a second. Why do all these people basically take what you're telling them and say, no?
But my Aunt Peg, she buys it all.
Aunt Peg can be part of that whole thing, too.
She buys it all, though. But I would imagine that watching that go down yesterday in a Chick-fil-A
baffled her because the media tells her the opposite.
That's right. She buys everything that they're selling.
Of course.
When she went over to Charleston with us and we were sitting at a little restaurant.
Why you take her anywhere anyway?
Well, because I love her. I love her dearly. We are dear friends. We laugh together. We have a wonderful relationship as long as Pandora's box politics never is opened.
So I retweeted this last night, and I don't even think we could really even bring it to the show because the way this woman curses. But this is a morbidly obese white liberal lady who sees the video of Donald Trump at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about this.
Loses her mind.
It's my Aunt Peg.
And that's Aunt Peg.
That's right there.
Like she's just sitting there and she's complaining about it. She's espousing every single falsehood. He's broke. Look what he's doing. These people are plants. They don't really, and she's basically she's reassuring herself.
How do you plant Chick-fil-A employees?
You don't. And that's the problem. What, you don't think you were going to get an uproar about it and now people are going to boycott Chick-fil-A for loving Donald Trump and showing that? I mean, you're going to see the overreaction. These people are absolute lunatics. They're all lunatics, and they've been tricked. They've been tricked into believing the Biden administration when they tell you Donald Trump is a racist. He doesn't like black people. Black people don't like him. You like me. And they've been brainwashed to the point where white women are now going, wait a minute. They're seeing the light and they love Donald Trump. How? Why have we been told they don't for so long? And they're too stubborn to go back and go, well, maybe I should look at this again. No, they're going to go, this is ridiculous. Donald Trump is tricking them all into loving him. No, he's not.
Maybe it's because I was never a person who watched The Apprentice. And
I didn't either. I've never seen an episode.
And I didn't grow up in New York. And so Donald Trump was just somebody to me who would show up randomly on news networks or in some movie, right?
And
like,
had the catch line.
Too. Here's so and so, and I always that's for somebody else. It wasn't ever for me. It never resonated with me, and so to then understand that there are a portion of people that look at him and go, "That's a star."
Yes.
Okay. Like it was never for me, but there are people that say that is a star, and oh by the way, he's now a former president. Yeah. He just walked into my Chick-fil-A.
Donald Trump, okay, to relate it to people here, and it's a lot lower of a level for this man, but right now, I think author blank is the Donald Trump of Atlanta. When people think of people like Arthur Blank and even Bernie Marcus together, what they're doing, building buildings, and really philanthropists, bringing things to the community. Remember, Donald Trump was a USFL guy. He brought the New York Generals, and they were the Generals back then, right?
Yes.
He brought them in. Yeah, the New Jersey Generals. He was so big, and he was a superstar. The buildings you drove by, Trump casinos in New Jersey, not a far cry from where you are in New York. You're taking a train to Atlantic City at one point. So you see him everywhere. But the one thing you saw with him, he was always around Oprah. He was always around Jesse Jackson. He was always around these leaders that now turn around and you don't hear them talking that much bad about him because he was there for them. It's a weird dynamic to see the way he's been treated in the media, especially growing up in New York like I did, where he was a number one. Everybody in rap, they loved his name. They talked about it.
You brought that up a bunch of times.
But Sports stars,
that
everyone.
is the one thing that's
Mariano Rivera.
Yep.
That's always going to happen. You're going to have somebody, because the fastest way to disparage somebody in this country was always call them racist.
Yep.
And that's why I say it doesn't resonate the same way anymore. So-and-so is racist. Everyone's like, all right, you've cried wolf on this one. Now, you say transphobic, that's a new one. Ooh, wow, okay, we gotta hear about that one.
Yeah.
Those hold more weight than racist, but for years, that was always the direction that they always tried to go. If I got to silence you or I have to diminish the star quality, I have to call you racist. It's not working anymore, and that Chick-fil-A was a perfect example of it, because had they felt that way about him, there's no way they're ogling over this person.
That's exactly right. Morning Extra at Extra 1063.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, April 11th. Nearly 100,000 people were without power this morning as storms carrying heavy rain and wind gusts swept through the area last night. A wind advisory is still in effect this morning and will remain till 8 p.m. this evening. The strong wind gusts have taken down trees across metro Atlanta. Gusts up to 35 miles per hour are possible today during the commute. Overnight storms have also caused a delay to the start of the 2024 Masters this morning. If you're traveling to Augusta for today's opening round, the opening of the gates have been pushed back, with the tournament not starting before 9 a.m. This is the fifth consecutive year the tournament has been affected by rain. And Game 3 of the Braves series versus the Mets was postponed last night due to storms. The game will be made up on May 26th when the Mets return to Truist Park. Alan Winans, who was scheduled to start last night, will take to the mound today in the series finale. First pitch scheduled for 12:20.
The economy is in a state of constant recession, but it can be fixed. We'll let you know how next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los. At 10 o'clock, the Glenn Beck program, noon to 3, Clay and Buck. 3 to 6, local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. The best way to listen to all of this content is right there on the Extra 106.3 app.
You want to be ahead of it? You want to be at the water cooler? You want to have the information first? Well, tune in, because Tug, Rhino, Carlos, we're going to have it for you.
Only place you'll get it, and the place you'll get it first.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Horizon Background Screening is a fully licensed and insured private investigations firm that focuses on litigation support for law firms, criminal defense cases, and background investigations. We are also FCRA compliant and process pre-employment background checks, tenant screening, and background checks for volunteer organizations. Whether your business is a law firm needing anything from scene investigations to witness interviews, or a company that requires pre-employment background checks, we have the experience you need. Visit horizonscreening.com to learn more. That's horizonscreening.com.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here, and with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is, so protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company. Painters you can trust.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Start your mornings the right way with Doug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3.
Doug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. Please download the app. That way you can listen live and on demand. It's the most convenient way to listen to Extra 106.3. And when you hear advertisers on the station, if it matches a service or a good that you could use, please give the people that advertise on this station the first opportunity to earn your business. They share your values. Why go to a company that just has nothing for you, doesn't care about you at all, when you can use a company that does? We're not asking you to buy something you don't need, but when the need arises, remember the people that support your values. It's as simple as that. All right, there was a woman named Aubrey Day. She got married last month. There's a video of her exiting the venue, and it's making its round on TikTok and social media and Instagram. The reason? Because she ran outside from her wedding. She ran outside, photographers flashing away. Problem was, she ran outside with the wrong dude.
You got the wrong guy.
Wrong guy. Go get him. They're climbing up on a big golf cart, probably going to be taken away to, the hotel room or whatever this resort that they're on. And as she's coming out, she's holding the guys, she's kind of dragging him behind. And I'm sure the man is a little bit reluctant, like, where are we going? And turns out she had the wrong dude. Her husband standing at the top of the steps. She'd just gotten married. I'm thinking she probably had too many glasses of champagne. She was caught in the moment, but it's just funny, man.
Where are you taking me, lady?
Exactly. Hey, you probably should talk to him before you start trying to drag me off. It's one of those moments that'll go down in their life. Isn't it funny how when things go wrong, that's what we remember more than anything else? A friend of mine told me one time, and I didn't understand it at the time, and I kind of do now. He was like, you ever had, you go on vacation and you rent an Airbnb or something and the hot water heater breaks or something goes wrong? He was like, I remember those vacations better than any other vacations because it's one of those pivotal moments of it. Like you go on vacation every year and it goes perfectly and you don't really remember that much about it. This actually gives you some reference to remember. And I was like, you know what? That actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah, what I will remember about my spring break is White Power getting stuck in the
sand. Yeah.
Like I'm going to remember that we spent an extra 45 minutes trying to get the truck out of the sand. It was funny. It was frustrating, but it was great.
And you'll never forget it.
I'm going to remember the $450 I had to spend on groceries.
Yeah, that's right.
But the fun part about it was that the cashier knew the prices were high. The woman behind me knew, and they were all cheering on as the prices kept dropping because I joined Winn-Dixie.
Opened their little card, whatever, the Winn-Dixie Club.
I don't even know where Winn-Dixie is near me now.
I don't think there are any around here no more. There were, when I was growing up in Dalton, there was one up there, but I think it's closed. I don't know. I don't know if Winn-Dixie is a thriving brand like it used to be.
Yeah.
I always like Winn-Dixie.
Me too.
I like Hoggly Woggly. I like going in there.
The Hoggly Woggly.
Man, come on.
It's my favorite shirt still.
Yes, that's right.
I love that shirt.
Piggly Wiggly is the way to go, man. I love some Piggly Wiggly. But anyway, it's just funny how the wrong thing happening in one of those moments will, you'll remember it forever. And maybe, overall that's not the case because the economy is going really, really poorly, and I don't want to remember that. This is like when it's your vacation, you probably want to remember some of it. But like things that are going on now, you would like to forget some of it. But there is a bit of hope. We try to bring a layer, like the silver lining to every cloud. We try to bring some hope to the show, Los.
So one of the fun things that I've done to small exercise, and I've done it with many liberal people, and it always shocks them when they ponder this. I will always tell them, hey, let's agree that Donald Trump's a buffoon. And they're like, they can't wait. Yeah, you're right. A total buffoon.
Finally, come around.
And I will say, well, do you realize that the Trump tax cuts enabled, and I'll start saying all the things that ultimately it was good for all common Americans. And I'll be like, if he's such a buffoon, which he is, let's all agree buffoon.
Right.
Then why did you do something so simple that created such growth? And that's when sometimes it'll hit them with like the red pill moment of, oh my God, because Democrats don't want there to be growth in the private sector because it enables people. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, relying on government.
So here is just a couple of ways where there's no magic bullet here, but there are some ways that, first off, we're going to go into a recession. The full-time job market is currently in recession. That's where we're at, okay? Yeah. So we have so many of the economic indicators that say we're headed towards, it's not a soft landing. We're going to hit the shore here. It's not going to be fun. Now, there's some ways out of it. One of them is really focus on your state. I know, and this is going to sound sacrilegious to you, Tug. I know that you don't care for EV, and I know that you don't care for any of the things that we do within this state. The more jobs that we can create, the more of a job environment we can create. I don't care for going to the WEF either, okay? When Governor Kemp did that, the more jobs you can get in the state, that's more of it's a huge deal.
In his defense, which I don't like it, but in his defense, that's what he's doing, and I appreciate that, and I can at least appreciate that.
You need to. One of our focuses going forward, especially in red states, is what is your government, what is your governor and the state legislature doing to create job growth within an area? Because we can't depend on the federal government for this right now.
No, we can't. And it's also important, not only that, yes, I am not happy that where he went to do it, but he is bringing jobs back. But I think what's more important is that he got the initiative to cut the taxes. Because when you do that, that is going to flood more money into the market. That money is going to go back into the local economy, and we're going to start buying from hopefully small businesses, and we'll continue to do that. The tax breaks we're getting, we're not a deficit. We're not California that is just burying itself.
That's huge.
That is huge.
And that's investment opportunities for us.
Absolutely. And luckily for us, too, we have the problems that, our port system in Savannah, we've worked on that. We did that, and Brian Kemp did a great job, and we're about to deepen it again to bring in more. So this state will continue to grow, and red states, Florida, the same thing. They're doing things to make sure, tax cuts, things that will make sure that the economy continues to flow in those states.
And so that's going to be very important moving forward because you want to be in a state. And we saw this during the COVID time period, during the lockdowns. The states that bounced back the quickest were the ones that were able to get back to business the quickest. And we were one of them.
Yeah.
We did not have the same sort of pain that some of these other states took where they just did not have, they couldn't open restaurants, okay? They couldn't open up places it was so problematic for them to get back up and going. We were the beneficiary of opening up early and getting going early. The other thing is this, and Rhino has told you about this from day one, drill, baby, drill, and everything else. You have 100%. We have to. If we want to kill this inflationary environment or get it under control, it's not that America's not producing energy. We are. We're producing it as well as we ever have. We need to produce so much that it drives the entire marketplace down on cost.
Yep.
Because when we talk about fulfilling and refilling our strategic reserve, the reason why we're not doing it is because, it's going to cost us way too much, and it will. We need to do what the Saudis will do, what OPEC does. When they want to drive down the market, they flood the market. We can do that on our own with all of our energy resources.
We're not going to is the problem.
Well, at least not now.
Not now. If Trump is reelected, then you're definitely going to kick the door open because I think.
But I'm talking every pipeline, everything, all of it.
But that's what he did. He was the one who refilled the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. He was the one who was buying it at $25, knowing in case of. And now at that point, we're thinking hurricanes, we're thinking natural disasters, we're thinking we need to have that so that the price remains low. But it also gave us the opportunity to sell that oil, to get it out there. And that's what kept the economy going. Energy is the number one way to keep an economy going, and we've fallen behind. Now we have to convince these companies that, hey, we're not going to shut it down, and that's going to be the hard thing.
That's the hard thing. But it's like the EV thing. Like, I'm fine with EV when it's ready. But like this marketing campaign of it's green and all that's the stuff that irritates the daylights out of me.
This is the part that's frustrating because we currently have a system in which case the state and federal government will pick winners. And in this case, we're deciding we're going to, the federal government will basically tell you, we need to have all these vehicles by 2030, 2035. And then the states say, well, we'll create inducements to get them here and to get this manufactured. That is not the nature of a normal free economy, but that's where we are. So if that's the environment, all I'm asking is make sure that you are asking your governors and you're asking your state legislatures to create these scenarios where businesses want to come into your state and bring jobs into your state. Because right as of now, as I told you, we have a recession when it comes to full-time jobs. There's not enough of them.
There's not. And, we're doing pretty good work with a lot of the budget that Governor Kemp has put forward. Our state employees, they're going to make more money. Our teachers, they're going to make money. But we've got to work on the local economy. It's one thing to have government continue to create the jobs and flow that, and that's good.
I hate that.
They're going to pay. I know. I hate that too. We need to be working on small businesses. We need to also
the backbone of America.
Right. We need to be calling our representatives. We don't do that enough. We're not calling our senators, Raphael Warnock and Ossoff, and we need to tell them, you need to start working for us instead of for the Biden administration. We need to be calling Mike Collins. We need to call our friends. All of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene, we need to say, vote no on this. We don't want you spending more money in Ukraine. You need to make sure you're calling all of them. I don't care if you live in DeKalb and you're a Republican. You better call David Scott and say, number one, where are you? Why are you doing this? Why aren't you bettering our lifestyle here in the state of Georgia? Why are you worrying about other things? And make sure they're voting the right way for you.
So again, take care of it at your state level. You're going to want to go ahead and push for as much energy production as possible. And there's one last thing, and I've only heard one person bring this up in this election cycle. Vivek Ramaswamy talked about the slashing of the federal payroll, about how for every person that has one of the, and again, it seems contrarian. What do you mean you're going to get rid of jobs? It's because every single one of those jobs, every single one is basically, it's backed by printed money.
That's right.
We're printing money to create an artificial job market. We gave you the numbers yesterday. Somewhere between 21 and 58% of the job growth has been government jobs. Printed money to create jobs so that they don't have to face the fact that they're not creating jobs.
Imagine that, the wool being pulled over your eyes at the federal level. They do it with everything. They're never straightforward with you. They're never honest with you. That's why it's so refreshing for a person like Vivek Ramaswamy. That's why he had earned my vote before he dropped out, and now he's back in Trump. I was going to vote for him in the primary.
Look at the money that the federal government was able to bring in after the Donald Trump tax cuts. Okay, you had record numbers of revenue that was coming in. And you know what? The IRS didn't have a problem with processing it at that time. Add in nearly 80,000 people. Suddenly it's, well, we got to add all these jobs. Well, 80,000 jobs at this amount of money, this amount of spending. Look at what you're printing. Look at how you're devaluing the regular American's paycheck in order to grow government artificially.
87,000 jobs to go and get money for them to spend where you don't want them to be spending it. They're spending the 87,000 jobs are to go look to see how can we continue to keep these 87,000 people employed. We're going to come after you.
The swamp,
not
man.
the corporate, not the rich, the middle class and low income families. You're the ones that are going to get audited. You're the ones that are looking at.
We started this discussion by agreeing Donald Trump is a buffoon. Okay? It's like, but a buffoon created this sort of economy with tax cuts. I'm telling you, these are three aspects. It doesn't take a genius. Any buffoon can do it. But why don't they do it? Ask that question to that liberal Aunt Peg of yours.
It's always the why.
Ask that question, and then they'll realize if they want to be pretzeled, they'll be like, well, so it only takes that in order to revive this economy?
Or at least that's what it took the first time.
Yeah. These are three simple that even a buffoon can do.
Give me a buffoon every day.
Yeah, even an orange buffoon.
But they won't do it.
No, of course not.
Why not?
Because they're unhinged. I know I'm related to one.
They're protecting their own. They're protecting their own. They're protecting their friends' jobs. They're protecting their families' jobs. Nancy Pelosi, who are you protecting? Paul Pelosi. That's why you went from being a $174,000 a year person to a $41 million person this year. That's how we do it. We steal money. That's what we do, right, Nancy?
And
that's what we do.
And growing the government is never a good idea.
And they're not. And she's not the only one.
No, of course not. There's
the Republicans. There's plenty of you out there stealing our money as well.
I hate it. I hate seeing that. Anytime there's a growth in government jobs and a growth in government, you know it is detrimental for you and for this country. Just be aware, because it is happening as we speak. Mariano Rivera was one of the most, not even one, he was the most feared closer in all of baseball. That wasn't why I liked Mariano Rivera. Can I tell you why I liked Mariano Rivera of the New York Yankees? Because he is a good man. Since he's retired, he has started a church. He is helping people with their faith. He uses his platform and the money that he made to bring people to faith. He helps with charities. Like, he is a philanthropist in the most genuine sense of the term. I don't call many people good because I don't think people are good. The Bible tells me people aren't good by nature. If I could give an earthly definition of a good man, it would probably be Mariano Rivera. Then yesterday, I see that he has endorsed Donald Trump for president. I had no idea what his politics are. To this minute, I don't know what his politics are, and I don't care. But I was blown away by this, because this man, who I have such admiration for, said, you know what? I think this is the person that can help America and help Americans. That's all I need.
That's all you need. I've been fortunate enough, being in the sports industry, to meet the man. Being a huge Yankee fan growing up, obviously, in awe of someone. But the man is a true gentleman, number one. Number two, a loving man, God-fearing man, and someone who takes care, like you said, he's not a philanthropist, but he gives money, he takes care, he's got his foundation, he does everything right, and he realized one thing. This is so important, the country, the direction of this country, that Donald Trump is the only one who can bring us out of this. This is a huge endorsement from a man who speaks loud to the Hispanic community in New York, too. I'm going to be very interested to see what that does in New York City.
There's a bravery aspect here.
I think you're right.
Because when it comes to you, Tug, it doesn't matter if Taylor Swift ends up endorsing Joe Biden or Satan or anybody else. You're still going to be like, I like her music.
Sure.
It's cool.
Yep.
It doesn't change the fact that I go see Matt Damon in movies or George Clooney movies.
Right.
Like, this doesn't factor. But when somebody endorses Donald Trump or any other Republican, that side goes nuts, to the point where I'll burn his jersey. You're calling down a certain amount of thunder. And so you better be pretty sure about it. And so when Mariano Rivera is saying, hey, I believe this, and this is who I'm going to endorse, this is who I believe is going to help us, well, then he's ready to take all the slings and arrows.
Which I think that's why I'm so impressed by it, because I know what you're saying is exactly. I've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the Eras movie and everything else. You're like, you've got your Taylor pom-poms and everything else.
I steal it from my brother-in-law.
See? Didn't stop one bit about you, but the other side, Aunt Peg would be like, I'll never watch him pitch again. I'm like, well, it's going to be hard. Aunt Peg ain't doing it anymore.
She got a bobblehead. She's probably thrown that away, but that's a dog shoe toy.
She broke it. Uh-oh. I got to get rid of my Mariano bobblehead.
I hate him. I can hear it now. I hate him. She wouldn't say it like that.
You watch the Hispanic community, though. Listen.
Yeah.
They will listen to that man.
Dude.
He believes a lot, and the same as a lot of that Hispanic community. It's a great community.
It's funny, man. Even if he would have endorsed Joe Biden, I mean, it wouldn't change the way I felt about what he does as a man. Now, the question is, like, judgment, but what he does in his community and what he does for people wouldn't change at all. It's just different, I suppose. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Biden's got major problems in his historically solid voting base. Next on Extra 106.3.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
University of Texas at Austin getting rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion department. They laid off all the people who were in that department. So, of course, now the college students are demanding that, saying it was racist and that it was unfair, and they were terminated, marginalized groups, and nobody cares about us anymore in America. Also, not only protesting against Jewish people, they're now protesting against getting rid of DEI programs because they want DEI, because that's now what all the college kids are saying. They hate the Jews and they want DEI, inclusion and equity for a program, period.
Didn't earn it.
DEI didn't earn it.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now, the security riddle of the day. What's less secure than a fake safe from a furniture big box store? Joe Biden's fake border policy, of course. But hey, there is good news. This time next year, Joe Biden will not be president. So drop by Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Build a wall around your valuables with a safe from the Safe House. We have certified delivery crews to install your safe. With over 30 years in the safe business, the Safe House is the place to buy safe in Georgia. So go to atlantasafehouse.com.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Introducing Sonder Health Plans, your trusted local partner for Medicare Advantage in Georgia. Only in Georgia. With Sonder, you'll get comprehensive coverage that's tailored to your needs. They offer $0 primary care visits, $0 premiums, and access to a wide network of Georgia healthcare providers. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com now to learn more about their valued-based care that won't break the bank. Or call 888-428-4440. Sonder Health Plans, your doctors, your neighbors, your friends.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
What are your plans for your business this year? Hey, it's Tug. Do you want to expand and grow? Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you got a new person to deal with? You have to start all over again? You don't have that with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they want to know you. Unlike big banks, they want to partner with you. The Frost family knows the patterns. They know the ebbs and flows. They know business. Get to know them at FirstLibertyGA.com. Building a building, buying a franchise, expanding. Reach out to them. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. You do that at FirstLibertyGA.com. And by the way, if you're a young banker and want to work with a team that is faith-friendly and has a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to them today. First Liberty Building and Loan. FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Doug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Plus, right now, with all the pollen, they can take care of the air inside your house. Your family's health depends on your house health. They can use air purifiers to fix it all at Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
There's only smoke in my house. Can you help me?
Yeah. That's right.
What about Central? What
That's
about
right.
dog food? Dog dander. Dog food.
I would imagine, because that flows to the
They
air.
got
too.
the filter, right?
Absolutely.
Man, pet dander and all the stuff we deal with this time of year.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to get that out of your house. If you're not doing that regularly, you know, just every now and then, just let them clean out. You'll notice a difference.
Yeah, National Pet Day.
Especially,
on National Pet Day.
Especially how you sleep at night.
Yes, sir.
Like when you wake up in the morning and you're wildly congested and you're like, why am I like this? Like, listen, to air you're breathing.
Absolutely right. Air purification with Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Rhino, there is a new push a new force to be reckoned with in the camp of Biden Harris 2024.
Maybe smart on their part. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's funny what they're trying to do because they've lost everybody else. We just talked about what happened at Chick-fil-A with that community that stood up, and we've talked about the black voters that are moving towards that side to say enough's enough. We're tired of the economy. We're tired. Democrats can't talk about the economy. They can't talk about inflation now. They've lost on abortion thanks to Donald Trump's smart statement on abortion. They can't talk about border security. They've lost a lot of the black vote. They even abandoned them. They tried for the Hispanic vote. Well, now their new campaign push, LGBTQ support, and they call it Out for Biden Harris.
Okay.
So,
out for Biden.
There's so much here.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. You're exactly right. But here's the thing: when you put everybody in boxes, right?
Yes.
You have to pander to each person, and I mean, we see it with the folks that Joe Biden's having a real struggle with in Michigan. Right, so he's put them in a box, so he's got to pander to them. He's with Jewish voters, he's got to pander a particular way to them. Minority voters, he's got to pander a particular way to them. And maybe that's all of politics, but I feel like the Democrats do it to the nth degree. It's hard to. I feel like they trip over their own feet because they do it so much.
All right, let's do this. So Rhino, straight man. Tug, gay man. Okay, can you get into characters here?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I do it. What?
Just play your character. Just play your
Can
character.
I just not be a regular gay dude?
Yeah, you be a regular gay dude. Just go. All you have to do is say, like, hey, Rhino, you look fantastic today.
Man, I really like your shirt.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
A little sexy. Say sexy. It's a sexy shirt.
Okay. Rhino's a sexy shirt.
Are you ready? I'm gonna. You're in your character, right?
Okay. I'll go as best I can.
I'm gonna keep your economy strong, your wallet good, and I'm gonna keep you safe at home.
That sounds great.
I'll vote for you.
I love it. Thank you.
You don't need this. Is when you pander, when you can't talk about the things that actually affect all people. This is what you do, because they can't tell you about keeping the economy strong. They can't tell you about keeping money in your wallet. They can't tell you about keeping you safe in your home. This is how then that turns into, we have to figure out a way to, you know what, I'm going to make you feel special, Tug, because you're a gay American, and I'm going to pander to you as gay American because I understand who you are.
Thank you.
Yet, you can't just talk about the stuff that both of you guys go, cool, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I want.
So straightforward, and it's so succinct. And it goes back kind of like in that, like
straightforward.
Yeah.
So gay.
You both of you guys went, sounds good.
Yeah. How do I pitch in?
Because we shouldn't be pandering to any sorts of groups,
Right.
because you realize the reason why Donald Trump is picking up the steam that he's picking up, it's because people who live that economy want that economy back.
Yeah.
That's it. And because it gives you a sense of opportunity. When it comes to the LGBTQ community, so many of them just say, I just want an opportunity to be a regular person living my life. It's a lot harder when you can't be a regular person living your life.
But what I'm going to love is that I think a lot of the log cabin Republicans, okay, people like that, common sense parts of the LGB community, they're going to look at this and say, you're looking for the useful idiot in our group. That's what you're doing. You're pandering to them. The reality of this is, I don't really care about whether a man can be a woman or pronouns or any of the ridiculous virtue signaling that we do on our side. I am looking for the economy. I am looking for being able to keep my job. I'm looking that if I want to marry a man, I'm going to marry a man, but we're able to afford food. We're able to afford shelter. We're able to afford everyday items.
Create a life
this
together.
Means nothing. Yes. And that's what realistic people in that community are going to look at and say, you're just pandering. Men can't get pregnant. Sorry, put up pictures all you want. It's nice that you're, thinking this way, but this doesn't help any of our families.
I think about it when it comes to, let's say Joe Virgin River. And then let's also take the gay version of Joe Virgin River. They both want the same thing. They both want to create a life for themselves, one where there's a level of comfort based on how hard they work. That is not what's available. That's what they should be touting. That applies to anyone and everyone.
And the reason they're not is because they can't. But you're right. You can apply that to any. I mean, it doesn't matter color, race, creed, whatever all the EEOC stuff is. That's exactly right.
Like whatever your group is what your group is, and you all want the same stuff. Security.
Yeah.
protection, and if I can, which is harder and harder to get, is upward mobility.
That's exactly.
Yeah, they've lost this, and they're spinning the wheels. They're trying to buy vote after vote, and they've lost the thing that would make them powerful. Or what did enough in 2020 for them was that they were able to take each tyrannical minority group. So whether it was the pro-terrorist groups that are going to go and burn cities down, whether it was the LGBTQA+I that they kept adding letters to community, whether it was the black community, Hispanic community, they all started separating, and they're losing them all one by one, and they're losing them to more conservative ideas, and they're just going, okay, let's see if we can save this one now. That's their big announcement. That's their bid. Not, hey, we're going to shut the border down and protect jobs. Not, hey, we're going to work extra hard to not spend money so that we can use it for you and the low. No, it's, hey, get us the pro-terrorist groups.
But look, that's going to be a splash, though, Los, because that's going to show up on every news outlet. It's going to show up on TMZ. Anywhere you look, this story is going to show up. So they're using it strategically, knowing that they can't speak to the simple things that you brought up.
Yep. Meanwhile, we can go back, and again, there's so much insanity that happened in 2020 that it made you forget the little things, such as when you were at the Republican National Convention in 2016, Donald Trump was the one who was like, we're going to have gay people speak here, and we're going to recognize this group, which had never been done before. He was the one who brought it to the forefront of saying, there's not going to be any ostracized group. I'm building this tent even bigger. So what happens? Now, 8 years later, you have this, hey, we're going to become the official group of LGBTQ. Like, hold on a second. Your party was the originators of the Protection of Marriage Act.
That's right.
All right, that was done all under Clinton.
That was 96 in Clinton.
That was Obama, who was like, it's between a man and a woman. Your party is the one who went with that stuff. We just said, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, your party came out with don't ask, don't tell.
That was in the military in the early 90s. If you don't have to say anything about your sexual preference and you can stay in the military, your party was the one who did this stuff.
I just think of Big Kenny from Big and Rich. When he flips his guitar upside down, it just says "Love everybody."
Yep,
that's my mantra. That's what I believe the Bible tells me to do. Just love everybody. Like whatever.
Is it your credo?
Well, yes, it kind of is.
That's my credo.
Yeah, that's right. I should get a tattoo.
That's what I like about you, gay men. Like you care about everybody.
No regrets. That's my credo.
Morning Xtra.
You're going to be on that show in the afternoon with the old gay couple soon.
You think they'll invite me?
No.
Biden's got major problems with his historically solid voting base. Next on Xtra 1063, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
But only because you're prettier.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 1063.
Tax season again and again. Most people have no clue about how much income taxes they pay to the federal government. Those are the ones that say, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting some back. Well, the Wall Street Journal had a little poll to see if people had a clue about who paid what in income taxes. Most people thought the top 1% of income earners paid about 1% of the income taxes. Wrong. They pay 42%. 1/3 of Democrats said 1%. 22% said about a 30%. 25% said 12%. Nobody guessed the 42%. 54% of the people questioned wanted high-income earners to pay more. They should pay their fair share. Boy, do the Democrats and the left love that phrase. People should pay their fair share of income taxes. Now, if these people knew that the top 1% of income earners paid 42% of all of the income taxes, maybe they wouldn't be shouting, they need to pay their fair share. Why don't they know that? Blame the media. The narrative here that people, rich people, aren't paying their fair share is a Democrat narrative. It's all very simple. The rich aren't paying their fair share, therefore we need to raise taxes. Now, it's just me, and I did study journalism in college, but I thought the media was supposed to report the facts. They know the facts, my friends. The media, they know these statistics. They will not report them. Why not? because it goes against the Democrat narrative that evil rich people need to pay their fair share. The facts are ignored to promote Democrat slogans. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
A musician with technical knowledge can play all the right notes, but one who cares enough to play from the heart gives music soul. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking, because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. We're here to help with personal, small business, and commercial banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
But first, insurrection twice today. Jew-hating Democrats shut down the Senate cafeteria right after they shut down a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing this morning. This was an insurrection. They stopped the people's business. The federal building could not get to where they're supposed to go. They were not allowed to do what they're supposed to do. 2 insurrections in one day. And do you think you're going to be in solitary confinement for 3 years and wait for a trial?
Nope. They're special.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and
Another report shows inflation creeping up. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This time at the wholesale level, the day after a consumer price increase led to a sell-off on Wall Street. Producer prices rose 0.2% last month. The annual wholesale inflation rate also went up in March.
We came in with 2.1% year over year. The estimate was 2.2, but still, that is stronger than last month. I want to be clear. We're still jumping.
Fox Business Network, Cheryl Castoni. Now to the Arizona legislature.
Shame on you!
Angry Democrats chanting at Republicans for adjourning instead of repealing a looming abortion ban, shrugged off by a GOP state rep, Teresa Martinez.
Simply because we do not want to repeal the pre-Roe law without first having a conversation about it.
That law was upheld by Arizona's Supreme Court Tuesday, dating back to 1864, banning abortions even in cases of rape and incest. At the White House, a toast from President Biden to Japan's Prime Minister.
Join me in raising your glasses to our alliance, to our friendship.
Fox's Jared Halpern's at the White House.
Both leaders agreed to better integrate military operations and capabilities. Japan is also joining an air defense network with the U.S. and Australia. Today, President Biden and Prime Minister Kishida meet with the leader of the Philippines for a trilateral summit on security and stability in the South China Sea.
The top U.S. commander and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin are talking to their Israeli counterparts worried about Iran's threats to launch a retaliation to Israel's attack in Syria that killed an Iranian general. Republican Senator Dan Sullivan tells Fox the U.S. needs to do more.
Iran funds and trains the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah. You don't have any of those terrorist proxies without Iran, and we have not done nearly enough to deter them.
The Biden administration is finalizing new rules to expand background checks for more gun buyers. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Get the Extra 106.3 app.
Yeah, I got your app. I live out here 30 miles west of Augusta. I'm so glad Conservative Talk is back on the air.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We had a role-playing exercise in the last segment. And someone, I don't know who it was.
It's the GOAT Redneck Poet. Who else? He said,
brilliant, man.
So, Carlos, the scenario was, Rhino, you're a straight man. Tug, I need you to act A for this role play.
And I gave a scenario in which both of you within a second agreed that's how I would vote based off of economic safety, security, and prosperity.
So the GOAT Redneck Poet wrote, y'all had Tug act gay, but y'all didn't have Goey act straight.
See, that's where we messed up. That's where we messed up.
It should have been a role reversal.
That's
I get
fine.
it.
See, we should have thought that. I know it was kind of spur of the moment. You know, you're just thinking, here, let's do this because it illustrated your point so well. But had we thought about it a little further, we probably would have gotten that right.
We should have made him act more. Like, I didn't have to act that hard. You had to act.
Yeah.
I didn't have to act. We should have made Goey act.
Next time we'll do better.
Next time we'll do better.
That's
I
all.
promise.
That's all.
I will.
It's a tough role.
That's right. I need you to act real straight right now.
What do you think?
What do you think about that?
Hello.
Oh, good job, buddy.
I'm straight.
My name is Straight Goey.
Straight Goey. Straight Joe.
Albeit he is obsessed with different Hollywood starlets, yet we have to still pretend and play up the fact that we're like, maybe that's his beard.
Sydney Sweeney is
He knows more about Sydney Sweeney than anyone else in this building.
And which is funny.
That's his beard.
Because I only know one thing about Sydney Sweeney.
See, and he's saying, right. Yeah, two things.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's right. More specifically.
But, you know, it's one of those things where he goes, I never I'm saving myself for her. So we'll never question why.
Right.
Smart.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Yes.
Good job, Goey.
Yeah, there you go. And GOAT Redneck Poet. Make sure you follow. His is at Buffalo Trace Me.
Yeah,
there we
and
go.
go buy his book on Amazon, 100 Proof. It's a great book of wonderful poems.
There you go, man. It'll make you smile, make you chuckle out loud. It'll be good. He's one of our favorite listeners. And,
nobody will make you feel good about day drinking like GOAT Redneck Poet.
I'm telling you,
goodness.
I don't know. Here's the thing.
Where you sit back at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, it is time to pour myself a little something.
Yes, sir. And sometimes it's late, right before I'm going to bed, and he's like, man, I can't sleep. I think I'm going to pour me a Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know, because social media can be misleading at times.
Sure.
It's like country music. If everybody drank as much as they talked about drinking in country music,
they couldn't function.
They wouldn't be able to function. I'll give you an example. Luke Bryan, at the end of his shows, he usually brings out the opening acts, and they'll all do a shot of Jack Daniels, sit right up on top of the piano.
Yeah.
And everybody's there, and then they'll do a song together, which is a cool thing to see come down. So all the opening
jam
acts.
session. Let's go.
It's so awesome. What you don't know about that bottle of Jack Daniels is that it's tea inside, not Jack Daniels.
Cheaters.
It's exact. But if they did that every night of the tour, they would have cirrhosis of the liver. You know what I mean? So
I feel like Morgan Wallen could do it.
Maybe. There's a video of him that popped out. Where did I see it?
He don't seem to be fake drinking at all.
No, in 2019, there's a video that came out of him challenging to a man to a headbutting contest in a bar.
That's living the bit.
That's living the bit.
I love it.
Well, okay.
was that the Trump Marini challenge?
Hold on, Morgan. What were you saying there again?
Hold on.
Atlantic Station.
I challenge you to a headbutting contest.
Where do you want to fight? Atlantic Station.
Okay, all right. All right. No, that's the thing, being locked in the punch. And I wonder how much of GOAT Redneck Poets is locked in the punch, or is it he's really drinking every time that he posts? He's going to die.
Well,
no, he won't.
No,
he's
he won't.
living.
It's cirrhosis of the
the
liver
man gets
is
up
real.
at 2 a.m. He's running around. He's
running
doing,
around.
He's
You're
not
telling
drinking.
me you're telling me he's running around like exercising, running around?
No, not that.
Exactly.
Don't get ridiculous.
Okay.
But he's doing his day thing, and then he gets home. He has a nightcap, and it happens to be maybe a bottle. Who cares?
Every day? It's like the Luke Bryan thing.
I don't
but
think
every post I see is something about him pulling a Grant.
I don't think Gamma 5 allows that to happen.
I'm just telling you, I see it a lot.
So I had the heart rate monitor on yesterday, doing the workout, and then I also then went and drove up to the middle school to go grab my daughter. I still had it on. I just hadn't turned it off yet. And my resting heart rate was 55. And I was like, oh, okay.
Is that good or bad?
Why don't you take a look?
That's really good.
And so I went, I called my wife.
It's like being in a coma. You're so calm.
Okay.
I called my wife and I said, hey, my resting heart rate, because when you have the monitor on, it's because you're running or you're doing something. I'm never just like sitting around with it. And so I told her what it was, and that validated my entire lifestyle.
Yes.
Well, including, I'm like, hey, well, I'm going to go hit that bar. Now I'm going to go do this and this.
Now, on the other side, I grabbed my chest 3 times this week going, this is it.
Here it is. Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey.
I knew I should have taken that vax.
That's right. Yeah. No kidding. I think we've all been there. But it is funny how.
So me and Goat Redneck Poet, like 55.
There you go.
That's our resting heart rates. So you keep doing what you're doing, sir.
Goaty.
That's right.
We love you, Goaty.
Yeah.
That would be his
Goaty?
baseball name.
Yeah.
Because, you put an IE or a Y on the.
Sure. Yeah.
It's,
Matty, you're going down this by yourself.
Yeah. What's the.
Goaty.
Goaty, I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No, it's a good one.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, that's not convincing. That's not convincing at all.
Kind of like Goaty.
Thank you. It's a baseball nickname.
With like the D, though. It's like Goaty.
Yeah,
Goaty.
exactly.
Okay, yeah. No, I like it.
I'm just saying. All right, anyway. Here in Georgia, Biden has a big problem. First of all the things that Lowe's laid out in the last segment, everything that sucks about everything that Biden's doing, and then the stuff that I told you about, where when you go through some of the things that he has caused, like gasoline to be up almost 50%, groceries almost 22%, eating out 22%, baby food 30%. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And this affects everybody. I mean, look, if you're really, really rich, then okay, it probably doesn't affect you. But the middle class, definitely lower class, people are affected. And the minority communities are affected no different than anybody else. And I feel like, or it would appear that some in the minority communities are going, man, I feel like there's a better way. I feel like what was going on prior to this may have been better. I know I'm not supposed to believe this. I'm told every day on the news I can't think independently. And we all know that's nonsense. Everybody can think for themselves. And yet the news media continues to push the narrative, you can't vote a particular way because of the way you look.
Absolutely.
And that's falling apart for Joe Biden.
It really is falling apart. And I found this really interesting. CNN did this thing about young black voters in Georgia. And they wanted to find out, do you still back Biden like you did in 2020? They chose 4, and all 4 said, nope, we sure don't. Now, before you start thinking, yeah, this is exactly what you guys were talking about. He walks into a Chick-fil-A, or when he was coming to check in so that he could get his mugshot taken, people were standing on the side of the roads. These were 4 young black voters. They obviously pulled him in for one thing or another. One of them was wearing a keffiyeh on his head. I hate to tell him, that man that they chose, the people that you're supporting would not support you. But that's besides the point. The other one was also wearing garb as well, maybe Muslim. But this is the other part of the problem, because they're already losing black voters. They're saying, hey, the economy is too important to me. My religion is too important to me. We don't believe you've been pandering. You're not talking to us anymore. You're talking to someone else. Their group is young, progressive. 3 out of the 4 are saying, we're not going to vote for him. We're going to go third party. The other one said, we're not voting for anybody anymore. We're going to stay home. And a lot of it has to do with supporting the pro-Hamas movement or the pro-terrorist movement.
Well, tell me who you're paying as surrogates, and I'll tell you where you have a problem. And it's not just a young black voter. They're paying for Gen Z to have surrogates because they're losing the young voters. This was something that we brought up. I mean, this was months ago, and it was one of our listeners, and he had a really hard time. I remember calling us out on Twitter, and it's like, you really guys think these polls are correct with young voters? I was like, yeah, because they're the ones that are hurting more than anybody else right now. And so, as much as you have the CNNs of the world that want to go, well, let's take a look at young black voters. No, take a look at young voters across the board. When we were going with the Ragin' Cajun yesterday, and he's talking about young people are leaving us en masse in the Democrat Party. He's trying to signal the alarm, but nobody wants to listen because they still consider themselves all these baby boomers, the hip, cool people of, hey, we grew up in the 60s, and we're the ones who changed all this country.
Carville's one of them.
And they firmly believe that they are still the hip, cool generation, and they're not.
The other thing is that Biden is
Another we, by the way, but we're just an option.
Yeah, but we don't present ourselves as that.
Never.
You know what I mean? Biden hiring 9 new staffers to focus on Georgia, but none of them are from Georgia.
Right.
I find that fascinating that they feel so concerned about the state of Georgia that they're hiring specific staffers to come in and try to glad hand people, try to convince people that things are going really well. Here's just like James Clyburn will play here in just a little bit. He's going to tell you that this misinformation, the stuff you're seeing on the news about inflation, all of that is blown out of proportion because of social media. What you're experiencing isn't real.
Yeah, and that's what they're not buying it even though I think they're misdirected in the way they want because they are pro-terrorist and they're going to continue down that path. That's fine. But what they actually said when being asked, because one of the questions they asked, well, aren't you afraid if you do this that Biden has no shot in Georgia? And they said, I'll do you one better. Actually, I think that just means the Democrats should start listening. We're holding their election in the palm of our hands, and they're not listening. They went on to say, we're tired of hearing them say these things, these empty promises. And 2 of them said, and we're struggling in this current economy. We can't afford a lifestyle that we want to have in the future. So those messages tell you right there, even though they're crazy and they're going to hold everybody up because they don't want money going to Israel. They're fine with money going to Ukraine, but they don't want money going to Israel. They still look at the economy as the number one issue.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think that is the one that affects us all. And depending on where you are in your life, it is how hard it comes down. But straightforward, it's the economy, stupid, to quote James Carville.
Oh, one of the hearts of conservatism is you have compassion for your fellow man. You look at them as an individual. They're not a group that you just throw into a box.
A box, yeah.
And what I want is I want you to do well, and I want me to do well. I want us to do well. I want
us all to have the opportunity to do well. Equality is different than equity.
There is nothing that is more upsetting than when you get around a person who's having a tough time and they start telling you about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because it makes you feel horrible about whatever success you're having.
There's not an answer that you can give that helps.
And right now, we're in this crazy scenario where, am I having to cut coupons? No. At the same time, I'm like, so what about that other job? You know, like you're now having to get to this point of realizing this has gone on for far too long. This has basically been 3 to 4 years of you eating away at what used to be my protection. And so you want everyone to be in a better place. That is the heart of compassion. That's the heart of conservatism.
Absolutely, 100%. And when you see the numbers that, in 2020, he got 92% of the black vote. Now he fell to 63%. That's just not progressives. That's people who are looking at the economy saying, I am having a hard time. And so are my neighbors. And we want a future for our children. We want a future for the people in this neighborhood. We want this neighborhood to be able to thrive in small business, minority-owned businesses, but they can't because of the way this economy is working. Everything, they could pander all they want. They could tell them about women's rights and, medical is racist, bridges are racist in Atlanta, this, that, and the other, and spew all the things. But when it comes down to it, people just want to be able to afford a simple lifestyle.
See, this is where if you ever turn it on Aunt Peg, if you ever turn it on them, like, well, as you're saying, like, statues are racist, bridges are racist. Like, how about your policies are racist?
Yeah. Because that's the ones that actually hurt people.
How about your belief system is racist? Because it really actually has an effect on people's lives. That bridge that I crossed over, doesn't matter if it's gay, straight, racist, anything. It just doesn't matter.
Right.
Your policies do.
Right.
Yeah. And your policies have a bigger effect on me than anything else.
But see, I think the problem is that if you're looking at who am I voting for, you're already at a disadvantage, because if you think your vote for Joe Biden is going to improve, I mean, he's already shown you what he's going to do. So if you like where you are, then continue on the path. If you don't, you have to take a different direction. It should be pretty apparent the differences in the two candidates. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, let's say you can't stand him, but you know what's happening to you now is bad. How is staying the course going to make it any better?
You have had a socialism creep going on in this country to where it's here. Here it is. It's right in front of you. And you see it all the time. You see it with DEI. You see it with everything that is going on right now. And your vote is, do I want to change that? Do I want to agitate it? Or do I want to allow it to continue? And that's really what it comes down to, because Donald Trump is not some magical elixir. It's not the reset button. There's so much work that has to be done. It has to be done locally all the way to the federal level.
And will be fought tooth and nail.
Or
if he gets elected.
Or you can endorse what's going on right now.
Right, exactly. And you continue to endorse, you realize at this point it's the wrong direction. I think a lot of people go, you know what? When I cross this racist bridge, I'm still paying $3.49 a gallon to cross this bridge. I'm still crossing that bridge to go buy more expensive groceries, more expensive lifestyle. I'm having a hard time. And the house that I want that might be across that racist bridge is unaffordable for me to actually move into or to get out of this neighborhood or to make a better life. People realize that. They're not stupid, and they're tired of the pandering. They're tired of the lies, and they're tired of the racism of the Democrat Party.
So we've talked about what's going to happen in November. And more importantly, what's going to happen in January of 2025. So you can write this down, any one of y'all, just so everyone, 9/18, here's what's going to happen. We are artificially keeping this economy on its legs. Yep. We're keeping it breathing. We are resuscitating this thing. If Donald Trump's in office, they're going to let this thing crater.
That's right.
Of course.
And then we're going to spend the next couple of years as we dig our way out of this horrible scenario we're in. And they're going to be going, well, it's all his fault.
He's the one that did it.
That's how they'll blame it. That's how it's all going to play it. That's how they will undercut his administration for a second time.
Yeah, which is why they freaked out when he said, when the economy crashes. Like, I don't want this to come into my presidency. I want it to happen before, so people
it's going to
realize
happen.
where it's coming from.
It's got to.
Well, yes. Carlos is telling you exactly what they're doing. They are artificially inflating this. They're artificially creating jobs. They're telling you that the border is secure. They're telling you all of this so that when they get thrown out of office, they're able to say, it's not any better. Why isn't it fixed today? Because it's going to take 5 to 10 years to fix all the issues that you've done to destroy this republic.
You do not have a news media right now, and we can put it on any channel, that's going to show people struggling in this economy. Nope. It's just not available. But I guarantee you, just like, remember, we had COVID numbers in 2020. Here's what the case count is. Here's what death. It was reminded to you every moment of every day. It's what they were having to do. They're going to tell you about unemployment numbers, and here's what's going on in the job market every single day of a new Trump administration, and they will blame it on him every single day.
And here's the thing, even if it weren't Trump, let's say Trump didn't get the nomination and it was DeSantis, it would work the same way.
Same way. Same game. Nikki Haley had worked the same way, even though she's basically a socialist in the same way. These people are looking at the TV, they're watching ABC, they're watching MSNBC because they support it, and then you know what they're doing? They're saying the same things we are. Bull honky. The economy's not good. The gas isn't down. There aren't better jobs. The economy's not getting better. We don't want to go the same direction.
I think about the comedy that is Paul Krugman, where he's like,
oh my God.
What do you mean this economy? Look what's going on with inflation. He's just ignoring food, housing.
Yeah, because he brings up the 401k and how the stock market. I was like, yeah, but that your 401k does not affect you every day.
Right.
Gas prices do.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Again, you have to have money to contribute to your 401k. When you start having it eaten away by other things like savings, suddenly people are going, and we've gone through the numbers, they're not saving as much as they used to.
They can't. Credit card debt through the roof. Credit card, people when they can't pay their credit card debts. Yeah, it's unbelievable. So what course do you want to be on? The course that you know what's coming your way. You know what Biden's going to do, or are you wanting to change and go a different direction? Even if you don't like Trump, are you wanting to go in a different direction? Because I do. When we come back on Extra 106.3, the Vandy kids that caused all the trouble were trained by the White House. The 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. SouthernExteriors.co is the website, SouthernExteriors.co. If you want to call them directly, 8779-SOUTHERN.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Hey sandwich lovers, today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Hey, Atlanta golfers. Did you know that one of the best courses in Georgia is located right here in Tucker? Heritage Golf Links is a beautiful mixture of modern and traditional link-style play with incredible facilities and beautiful views designed around a 20-acre lake. And when you're done playing, have a drink at our full bar or a great meal while sitting on our lakeside patio overlooking the course. So come on out and have a great full Georgia day at Heritage Golf Links. Book your tee time online at heritagegolflinks.com or on our new app that is available now.
Electrify your senses with user-friendly technology and earth-friendlier power. Meet the all-electric 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan. Satisfying for both driver and passenger with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2023 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan today.
Lease one today for just $669 per month for 36 months with $68.13 due at signing.
Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models. Visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through April 30th, 2024. Excludes tax, tag title, and Georgia lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Tug Howard, Scott Rhino, and Carlos Medina get your day started with Atlanta's only live and local conservative talk on the Morning Extra.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Going to qualify somebody to go to Talladega.
Yeah!
Talladega.
I want to go.
Yeah, I've never been to Talladega.
It's a fun one.
I hear it's so much fun. I obviously know 1,000 people have been there, and there's like, just go for the party. You don't even have to like racing.
Go Thursday for the party.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if you're there, if I was there Thursday night, I'm pulling my shirt up and showing everybody everything. Hey!
Nobody wants to see that. Now,
not me doing it.
No.
But other people do
that's
it,
right.
and it's much better.
They see, you took the words right out of your mouth. Yeah.
I didn't want to be vulgar, though.
I love that. I'm glad you're holding back.
Right. My hairy chest just
trying to keep
out there. Yeah.
Family oriented. We'll qualify you for Talladega tickets if you can tell me what Talladega Super Speedway was called up until 1989.
Racetrack.
Yeah. I'll go over at the racetrack, which is exactly
the round.
That's right. It's a what is it? It's the oval.
Oval.
Or gosh, what's the name of it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Tell me what the name of Talladega Super Speedway was until 1989. From the time it was open till 1989, it was called by a different name. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. If you know the answer, we'll qualify you for Talladega tickets. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We got to get the headlines, don't we? Did we already do them? We don't have to. We have to. Yes, we do. Okay.
Let's do headlines.
All right, let's do it.
9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Southern Exteriors. You can call them if you need anything done to the exterior of your home. It is 8779-SOUTHERN or southernexteriors.co. Alabama International Motor Speedway.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Thursday, April 11th. Nearly 100,000 people are still without power, including Chuck Oliver, by the way, who came in early to use the internet because he's got no power. It's amazing. So
tree must fell down.
Yeah, a lot of people are still without power because of the heavy rain and wind gusts that swept through the area last night. A wind advisory is still in effect throughout the afternoon and until about 8 p.m. this evening. The strong wind gusts have taken down trees across metro Atlanta. Gusts of up to 35 miles per hour are possible today during your commute. Hopefully it's all blowing out to outfield and during the Braves. Then it swirls back the other way. Overnight storms have also caused a delay to the start of the Masters this morning. If you're traveling to Augusta for today's opening round, the opening of the gates has been pushed back with the tournament not starting before 9 a.m. I don't believe they've gotten out on the course as of yet. This is the 5th consecutive year the tournament has been affected by rain. Game 3 of the Braves series versus the Mets was postponed last night due to the storms. The game will be made up on May 26th when the Mets return to Truist Park. Alan Winans, who was scheduled to start last night, will take the mound today in the series finale. First pitch today is scheduled for 12:20. If you see us out there, come out and say hello.
Please do.
We're going to be running around.
We're going to ease over to the ballpark and catch
Sneak in.
too. Yeah, man. I love day games for that reason.
Yeah,
alone.
but Tug has access to seats that you won't have access to.
Yes,
Well, that's
that's
not
true.
true.
Because he's part of the chosen ones.
That's not true.
If you look up to like the it's like the Pope Mobile up there and Tug's
Right.
just waving to people.
That's not true at all. I mean, if I'm going to be
Tug's
accused,
like the Jewish Braves fan.
Yes.
he's the chosen one.
He is the chosen
He's the chosen people.
if I could get great tickets, I would be what I would like. If I'm going to
Rhino
be
and I have
accused
to
of it,
beg to get into the suite.
Okay, we all have the same exact credentials.
No.
Tug gets into the suite. Like,
Carlos,
every
tell me if
weekend.
I'm
That's
wrong.
not true.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Not
The
true.
last time we all went, we were
Last
in the
year?
suite. You were knocking on the guys. Let me
Can
in.
I get in?
And
You're
he
right.
was standing out front,
I
like
had to
he
call
couldn't
people
even
to-
get in. We had to like go and get because
I had to go to the suite next door.
Yes, and
to
knock.
flag y'all down.
Right.
To let me in.
And Tug shook his head no.
Okay,
I
but
know.
you said y'all. You just said y'all.
And then-
I would like to point out you just said
So-
y'all because
Well, that's because I tugged on your and I said, please take me in, sir.
Please.
Well, I know like Rhino went to a game this year, but he had to get tickets and stuff. What about like Tug? Did you go to opening day?
this year.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Where'd you sit?
114.
Wow.
I didn't see you over there.
Okay,
it's pretty impressive.
Okay, you know who else was at opening day?
Pretty impressive.
Where did you? Okay,
116.
Okay,
though.
Yeah, I mean, like,
okay, 114, 116. There's so much
throw
difference.
me all the way to the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, as if I had something.
Here I am, 2 rows from the top, like where people are like drooling hot dog.
Did
juice
y'all go
on
up
me.
to the suite?
No, they wouldn't let us. They said I couldn't. They said Tug and his family are expecting.
Incorrect.
They're like,
incorrect.
sorry.
We did not leave our
Lockdown.
Tug's always allowed in the suite.
That's not true. That is
Hide
not.
the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I know. I've been to the suite twice.
So
Act like
last time I went up, I
your
was
credential gets you anywhere you want to go.
I don't know if you know this. They give you a certain amount, and you have to order from the menu to say, hey, we're going to have this many people. We'll bring you this amount of popcorn, this amount of Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And I went to get some popcorn, and Tug was like, no. And he just kept eating it out of just straight out of it.
This is made up.
So if you want to say hi to anybody, say hi to Rhino and I.
Yeah.
The common
The
guys.
nice ones.
Right.
Yeah.
The common folk.
I mean, I don't know how you can call me anything but a common folk. Have you heard the way I talk?
It's a camouflage.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
It's a camouflage.
Right.
My mama lives in a trailer.
It's camouflage.
I was born in Dalton, Georgia. My daddy, when I told him I was going into the Navy instead of working in a carpet mill, I said, Daddy, I'm not working these carpet mills. He was like, well, what in the world are you going to do?
Yeah.
He couldn't wrap his head around it. That's how blue collar I am.
Y'all ever heard of Patton's fake army?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the idea was General Patton was leading a fake army in order to throw people off for D-Day.
Yeah.
You lead a fake army, Tug.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
yeah, you do.
I feel insulted.
It's all
I feel
inflatable.
personally-
So it's all
I feel
Mama drives a bus. It's
Yeah.
inflatable.
I
It's
feel
not real.
personally attacked right now.
Tug, we were at the game, and Darius Rucker was walking by. He's like, D, come on in,
please.
brother.
That's right.
Well,
Come
now,
on in.
If it had been his bodyguard Buddy, that would have been
Buddy.
might actually happen.
Yeah.
because me and Buddy are cool. I do
First
like
name
Buddy.
basis with every country star
That's
in the
not
area.
true. That's not true.
It's true.
That is
In fact, they
incorrect.
asked him. Like
Yeah,
I remember
that's
at one time at a Christmas party, they were asking Tug, "Hey, why aren't you coming backstage here?"
They told
one time.
Yeah.
One time. One time.
Did you know about that, Joe? They were asking like, "Tug, why are you not backstage with us?"
One
Yeah, it was Zach
time.
Brown.
Yeah.
One time.
They told Morgan Wallen, call Tug and talk to him because you're going to fix this now. And Tug is the only one that can fix this
That's
for you.
crazy talk right there. That is great. Morgan was in a headbutting contest in 2019, y'all. I just read that.
Yeah, first name basis.
Did he
Yeah,
win?
no, I don't think it matters.
No.
We in a headbutting contest. You're both fools, right?
I don't ever understand the headbutt. I really don't.
I don't either.
I mean, I know the top of your head's supposed to be the strongest part, but then I just
But
see
who
stars
hits
and
with the
stuff.
top?
I don't know.
I thought it was like the forehead, right?
Yeah. Now I will say this: I am shorter, and one time some guy like he hit a girl, and I kind of took obviously I took
Yeah,
exception
of
to
course.
that, and I said something, and he was his nose was like right about my forehead, and he swang. Now I headbutted his nose pretty hard, and then I had like blood on my forehead and
I
stuff.
bet you did.
But I'll tell you what, his girlfriend that got hit was very thankful for that.
I'm sure she was.
He
Rhino,
woke up
save
a
of
little
the
bit
day.
later.
We have a fine man on our show. Save of the day.
I mean, I'm not like Tug great,
You're better. You're
but
better.
I
What are you
try
talking
for the
about?
little people.
Better.
That's right.
I don't keep them out of the suite.
If you have any problems that go on at Truist Park today, just
Call
know
Rhino.
will help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
He's like the A team
Yeah.
of an entire Dickey Broadcasting.
It's true.
Like
true.
if you can find him,
Yeah.
you can hire the Rhino.
the Rhino.
Yeah.
As
Look for the
Kim
guy in the
would call him.
cowboy boots and the ripped jeans today.
There you go. Living ain't easy.
And if you see a man with a top hat and a monocle, know that is Tug.
Tug. Yeah. The one waving to everybody through the glass.
Mr. Moneypenny or whatever.
Yeah.
Did y'all see they're going to make a movie, a Monopoly movie?
Yeah.
What's her name? The girl
And the
that was
Thundercats
in
movie.
Margot
sorry.
Robbie.
Margot Robbie, right?
Hello.
Her
Hi,
production
Margot.
company. Yeah, she's a smoke show. She, her production company is going to do that. But Thundercats, I didn't hear about
Yeah.
that.
So Henry Cavill, he is playing the lead role. I think it's Lion. I forget his name. Lino? No, that's my name if I was a lion. I forget his name, the main character in Thundercats for some reason right now. But yeah, they're doing like the kind of CGI where it looks just like him, but it's like
not.
yeah.
All right.
So that looks pretty cool for anybody
I did-
who's around our age. Thundercats were cool.
Second grade, I remember Thundercats. Maybe third grade, but second or third grade.
Lino.
Thundercats.
It was right. Lino.
Yeah, so good. I want to thank and congratulate John from Dunwoody. He knew the answer. What was Talladega called before it was called Talladega?
I didn't know this.
Alabama International Motor Speedway.
Okay, you got to be a fan to know that.
I would think so.
I almost said
quick with the Google.
Rhino, I
as a
almost
joke.
said it.
No, as a joke, and then I go, wait, maybe it probably does contain
on,
Alabama in it.
dude.
I was going to say Alabama Speedway.
Oh, now that I believe.
Yeah, but
if
not
you're
the whole
throwing
way.
International Motor Speedway, then
as
I'm
a
like,
joke,
come
and then I
on.
go, wait, it probably is Alabama something Speedway.
Talladega just sounds iconic. Alabama International Speedway.
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds like Forrest Gump.
Sounds like a bad airport.
That's right. Those kids from Vandy, I don't know if you heard about them. They're acting up, and it draws the comparison to the cause heads, which are in the movie PCU, if you've ever seen that movie. And these people that cause trouble at schools and in Florida have been trained up by the White House.
If you ever see the movie PCU, it now goes back 30 years, okay? Like, that's how old the movie is. It is still spot on for telling you what's going on in society and where it's going. And one of the things that Jeremy Piven, as his character does, he's introducing this one freshman, this guy who's going to be a pre-frosh, and he's telling him, see over there, those are the cause heads. They care about something for 1 week and they move on. And it's like, next week it'll be this, next week it'll like, and at that point I was like, meat was murder.
Yeah.
And they actually had signs that had stuff about climate on the back of them.
Oh, right. Of course, so they can flip it around.
So they're ready for the next week. Well, one of these gentlemen is, and I'm going to butcher the last name, Jack Petozik.
All right, Jack Petozik.
So Jack is a 19-year-old young man.
That's the same age as my son.
Who is gay, who came to be known to have some prominence out of Florida because when there was and it doesn't say it, the Don't Say Gay bill,
which is made up,
in quotes, he was one of the people that led okay, we're going to do like a student walkout for this. Well, then it turned into, well, we're going to do an anti-gun thing. Then that turned into, well, I'm going to be a student at Vanderbilt and we're going to lead a protest against Israel. It's just one cause after another.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you will find pictures of this person visiting the White House because, as we talked about with Gen Z, they're constantly, the administration's trying to find a way to say, hey, skateboard man, I'm cool like you. But just know, there's no real belief system here. It's just whatever's the next thing you need for me to agitate for. This is what the street communist looks like.
Useful idiot.
Yes.
That's what it is. This is a man who supports a group that would throw him off the roof of a building and would gladly kill him and murder him and not care once about what his cause is, no matter how much he says. These kind of useful idiots are exactly what this administration and socialists and communists need, is to have the loudmouth, annoying people that you just want to go away. They're like gnats. Like, yeah, I hear you.
Anybody that calls himself an activist, that's what I consider.
Yeah, they're gnats. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Go away. I don't want to hear it anymore.
But there is a lane for these people.
Oh, yep. For sure. I mean, this guy's standing in the White House.
That'll lead you into the White House of, hey, street communist, useful idiot, as long as you stay on this, we'll keep making you a name. But Greta Thunberg showed everybody how to do this. It's like, Greta has no discernible education.
Talent or skill or education.
It's just, I'm going to be the child protester. This happens to be the gay young man protester who is now... He's been run out of school because you assaulted a security officer. And the rest of those ones that did, I'm glad that Vanderbilt stepped up and said, no, street animal, you are not going to do this on our campus.
It's the best thing that could have happened to him, though.
Sure.
In that world of activism, that's the best thing that could have happened to him, Rhino. Like, he's going to be celebrated as, like, this guy that changes the world, the guy that he's backing our causes. He means something to us. They're going to give him a promotion for it.
Well, of course they're going to give him a promotion, and then this is what these groups are. The Southern Poverty Law Center are all they're activists. All these politicians, when you look at them, they're activists that became politicians and become rich, and they know that that's their path. Carlos is right. They pick up whatever so they can move forward and make a living off of these things with never having to work.
This young man wanted to let you know that Vanderbilt will let sexual assaulters walk free but expel passionate organizers. Mm-hmm. You weren't peacefully protesting, even though you tried to say that. You assaulted a security guard on the way of breaking into a building.
Yeah.
And it's on video, and we all saw it, and so, sorry.
But if you say it enough times, and the mainstream media says it enough times, it becomes real, and Aunt Peg believes it.
See you later.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, we'll wrap up the show. A couple things, because we've been talking about it the entirety of the show. I want to get to the Jim Clyburn world that he lives in that will make you roll your eyes in the back of your head so far you'll look like a winning slot machine in Las Vegas. And I'm a new fan of Scotty Scheffler. since the Masters is getting underway this week. Actually, trying to get it underway today, but the rain's held that up a little bit, as you heard Rhino talk about in the headlines. That's next on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins the show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, it's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Ventrac. There is a lot of highly specialized property maintenance equipment that is out there, and typically it only does one task, okay? That's kind of just how it goes. Well, Ventrac compact tractors are designed to work year-round and during all seasons, and to provide versatility to you, eliminating the costly need to purchase multiple dedicated machines. That's what Ventrac is able to do with their tractors. You will find Ventracs in cities, parks, sports fields, municipal ground management, jobs where mowing, aerating, sidewalk edging, stump grinding, all those, well, they're tackled with ease with one piece of equipment. That's what Ventrac is able to offer you. Where do you go? Go to Howard Brothers today. They can demo everything for you, show you how everything works. You can take that seat behind the wheel of a Ventrac. The grass, and if you happen to need a tractor too, because you got a whole lot of grass, is always greener when you take care of it with Ventrac and with Howard Brothers.
Spring's here, and it's time to take advantage of our beautiful Georgia weather. This is Jim Niarchos from the All Four Seasons Home Show. You spend a lot of that outdoor time on your deck, right? What? You don't have a deck, or you need to replace it? Then you must join us this Saturday morning at 9 when our guests will be Outback Deck, the premier designer and builder of quality decks that are not only beautiful, but safe. They'll be sharing their tips on what you need to know before you make that important decision. Outback Deck on the All Four Seasons Home Show here on Extra 106.3.
Is the tax deadline causing you anxiety? Searching for elusive 1099s and trying to uncover any exemptions? If so, you're not alone. Every year, Georgians find themselves looking backwards to file with the IRS, reporting tax history. But what if you were to flip the script? Not just report your taxes, but actually planning for them. We're Master Plan Retirement Consultants. We're local, with offices in Marietta. We work with folks just like you to create a personalized, tax-efficient strategy designed to last a lifetime, a crucial piece to the holistic retirement plan. Do you have a retirement roadmap? You should. It's never too late. Visit masterplanretire.com. Don't wait any longer. Visit masterplanretire.com.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
The Atlanta Braves invite fans to come experience the brand new Blue Moon Beer Garden at Truist Park, located in right field, offering the largest variety of Molson Coors beer options and unique food pairings. Plus, there's a special ticket offer for the new space for any weekday game during the regular season. Tickets are only $30 and include a grandstand reserved game ticket and $15 added value to use toward food or beverage. Lock in your seats now for Blue Moon weekdays at Braves.com/Blue Moon. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your system running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. So turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts for your system's maintenance. With Central, you get Carrier products, Carrier warranty, and Carrier peace of mind. It's allergy season, and Central Heating and Air can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation, locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson. The biggest lineup of conservative voices in the South are on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
I have learned in my life that timing is everything. Timing on meeting the love of your life. Timing on getting a great job. Timing on getting an offer to go play ball in college. Timing is everything. Yesterday, Jim Clyburn was on MSNBC, and he was spouting off all kinds of things about the Biden economy and inflation, and he was telling people that it's not what you see. I want to let you hear from him, and then we're going to let timing work out the way. Jim.
And I do believe there are concerns about things like inflation. But what we've got to get them to see is that inflation today is about 40% of what it was when Joe Biden took office. And so the inflation rates are down and people's incomes are up. Unemployment is on the decrease. And although we see the prices at the stores costing more money, people are in fact earning greater incomes. So what we've got to do is make sure people see the policies of the Biden administration, how they affect their everyday lives, and get them to see in his policies that which is real, not what they may hear on social media.
There's so many things that we could tear apart there.
You just can almost hear the breaking news sound effects in the background and him going.
That's exactly right.
Well, they're showing something on the TV across from me. That's different.
We just got breaking news. The consumer price index increased at a faster than expected pace last month, a signal that inflation remains stubbornly high.
Wait. Faster than who expected? Because you know what? Carlos, Tug, and Rhino have been talking about this increase for almost 3 years now.
It's funny, though, but Clyburn, the timing of it all, you're correct.
So great.
You're correct about all that. But the timing is so perfect. I've talked to people, and some people say inflation is high. But we've got to convince people. We got to help them see how great things are. Breaking news. Things are terrible.
So when I was in the golf business, I did a golf tournament for Jim Clyburn and a charity that he did. Let me tell you, this man is out of touch. This man who had one of the most beautiful buffets and one of the most beautiful events, the amount of money that they poured into this, he doesn't notice the price index. He's not a consumer like we are. He's not driving his own car. He gets shuttled everywhere he needs to go. He's got his private planes. He is somebody who became extremely wealthy because he's a politician. He doesn't know what you're facing. He doesn't even understand what his constituents are facing. He doesn't see it because he doesn't buy eggs. He doesn't go and get gas. He doesn't see his savings account dwindling just so that you can make those payments on your house that you can't afford. Or if you even have a house, because you'll never be able to afford that. That's how delusional they are. They want you to continue to go and vote with blinders on.
And maybe some people will. Los, maybe some people will, but there's nothing that will trump timing.
There's just so many economic indicators that says that this thing it's wild. We're not supposed to be, and it's just kind of how it goes. When you see a reduction in the full-time jobs market where we're losing 1 million of those, and you say, okay, that screams recession. Yet you then have a stock market that is not showing that exactly, although took a pretty good dip yesterday. But there's just so many things where you say, it's like we're teetering. We're in this weird place where you have Jim Clyburn on television telling you that things are not as hot as you think it is. Then breaking news, it's like, no, it's hotter than we even thought.
But why do you think it's funny that they keep touting the stock market after attacking? Oh, look at these corporations. Look what they're doing with the prices. They're price gouging you. They're taking all the money. Their profits are higher than ever. And now you're touting that the stock market is rising based on that? You're idiots.
Foolish. People aren't blind to it, though. We're not blind to it. Most people aren't blind to it. I want to take you back to MSNBC real quick.
Please do.
Undecided voters on MSNBC, they were asked, who do you think would be better for yourself and the U.S. economy? All of them said the exact same thing. And remember, MSNBC isn't just showcasing a bunch of conservatives. These are so-called undecided voters. Now you know the question. Listen to their answer.
The undecided voters were also asked how they think President Biden is doing on the economy. Take a listen.
I think he's been absolutely disastrous for the economy.
I agree.
Raise your hand if you think President Trump's policies on the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody.
Shut it down. Don't show it. MSNBC, cut it like you did a Trump speech.
Show of hands so that, everybody.
Do you think did they put their heads down too when they're like in shame?
Maybe. It was just so great.
This is where I talk about how things don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You're in a scenario where the Fed hasn't cut rates, all right? The Fed froze rates after moving them up and up and up. And yet our housing prices continue to skyrocket, continue to rise. I'm like, wait a minute. These are not typical economic indicators of a healthy economy. This is an economy that is basically like a dog with a chew toy. It's just flying everywhere, and there's all sorts of craziness, and there's no real direction that it's going.
A ship adrift.
It's just all over the place.
Do you think that they followed up and said, now how many of you are going to vote for Trump, and they all pulled their hand down?
I don't know.
On the economy would be better for your family personally. Raise your hand. All right, so that is everybody.
That's not edited either. I want you to know it's not edited.
But that is, again, you're looking
Those
for
hands shot up.
like traders. If you're looking, people who are looking to invest, we're looking for some sort of certainty. Okay, like that's the way it operates.
Yeah.
Those people are raising their hands because they go, I have economic certainty under this person, whereas this one, again, dog with a chew toy. It's all over the place.
Which is why I brought that up earlier in the fact that if you've already made your decision who you're voting for, are you sticking with what we know to be certain that things are going the wrong direction? Are you choosing to go and vote that way to keep going the wrong direction? Or whether you like Trump or not, you're choosing a different direction because at least it's not going the wrong direction.
I don't think any of the moderate Democrats are going to go, all right, now I'm going to go vote for Trump.
No, I don't expect
Not at all. But what I do expect them to do is to sit out or maybe even look at that third party candidate. RFK Jr. is looking really, really good to a lot of people who do not want to continue down this path but would never vote for Trump.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Thank you so much for being here with us. We cannot thank you enough. Without you, we don't exist. Without you, this message does not exist. So when you hear advertisers that match your values every day on this show and on this station, when you need a good or a service, not asking you to buy a roof, you don't need a roof. Not asking you to buy a car if you don't need a car. Not asking you to buy anything you don't need. But when you do need that good or service, use the people that share your values, the ones that advertise here. That's the only thing we would ask. For Rhino, for Lowe's, for Board Up, Goey, Virgin River, my name is Tug. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Y'all come back now, you hear?
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
So right now I'm learning about the Sumerians, Ottoman Empire. You read about these societies, these civilizations. They last thousands of years and then suddenly disappear. Some of them last 40 years, 100 years, and they're gone. But I dare say, in every case, the people in those civilizations, those eras, probably thought what they had was going to go on forever. But it didn't. What about us in America? Do we believe that the American experiment, our amazing country, is going to go on forever? It's been around all our lives. Why isn't it going to stay around?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.